welcome in everyone to episode 113 of the Battlecast podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Peng, joined by my co-host, not SpeediestChief2, SpeediestChief3, as he liked to call
SpeediestChief3.
himself.
Look at this. Yeah, a little young upgrade. I don't know where Speedy is. Yeah.
Young
Um.
upgrade?
Yeah, yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
are you,
yeah, yeah.
wait, how old are you? Now that I'm curious.
All right. So I'm only gonna say that I'm about to turn 29, but I,
Oh,
I
wait,
won't
oh
say
yeah, I
like
mean,
how
you are
close.
younger. You are definitely younger then,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Wait, about to
yeah,
turn 29.
yeah.
What, you're about to celebrate your birthday soon?
Soon, yeah. But I had this thing when I was 14, yeah, where like my mate went onto my Facebook and
Yeah,
changed my birthday. Yeah.
okay.
So then I was getting like, people wishing me happy birthday on the wrong day. And then Facebook had the audacity to ask me for proof to change my birthday back to the real one. And I was like, no, like, this is my birthday. So
At
after that,
least
I
you
was
didn't need proof for
like,
the new one. That would have been harder to do.
no, that's what I needed. I wasn't
Wait.
able to change it back. He didn't
Oh.
need proof to change it the first time, but then
Yeah,
I
but
needed
don't
proof to
you
change
you
it
should
back.
have proof for when you're born anyway though, right?
Yeah, but that's not the point. Yeah, the point, the point is I shouldn't need to prove my age. Anyway.
Well, you're a lot
Uh,
younger than me. Have you ever used MySpace?
yeah, for like 1-2 years.
So my friend actually created my MySpace. Like he created a
Okay.
fake email, like a fake like email on Comcast.com or something like that, and created my MySpace for me. So I eventually used it. But
Uh,
then he started posting like all this like, "Hey, follow me for whatever stuff like that." And
yo.
he was using my MySpace login to repost his stuff onto my page. And then I was like, when I started catching on, I'm like, "Why am I reposting all this stuff that George is doing?" And then I realized like he's been logging in for it, and that's when I was like, "Yo, I'm
Hey,
changing this password, like, deleting it." Funny
George is
enough,
the
actually,
original crowd chaser.
dude, now that I think about it, this is such a great precursor. I mean, not a good thing he did, but he actually went to prison. He's out now. Yeah, he went to prison. There's a whole FBI case on this actually.
I swear.
I don't know if you remember from this was back in like 2015 or something. A lot of
Uh,
celebrities got their phones hacked
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
had a bunch of their images revealed, right? And some of the images were explicit, but they took of themselves or sent to their partners,
Uh,
whoever significant others. And he was one of the 3 or 4 people behind it.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
So he went to
That's
he was
wild.
just I mean, like I ain't going to go too much into his name and everything, but he was like my friend growing up and we were on the same bus and everything. I mean, I didn't really stay in touch with him after high school. But
Yeah.
yeah, they caught him a few years later. There's a whole FBI case. He only went to prison for like about a year or so, and he left. But yeah, he was in the
Wild.
same prison as I don't know if you've ever seen Jersey Shore. It's an American show.
I know of it. I know of it. I
Yeah,
haven't
he
watched it.
went to prison with one of the guys from Jersey Shore. Like he has photos with him
Bro.
in prison. Yeah, they're like working out
Bro,
together.
I really wonder like what they're doing in prison that they can get photos. Bro, I've seen videos of
Dude,
people with
yeah.
like TVs and Xboxes, and I'm like, bro,
I
it's
don't. It
supposed to be
was definitely
prison, isn't
like
it?
a white collar prison. That was like the most people were
Yeah,
in there for like white collar crimes, like tax evasion stuff, or whatever. But
yeah, but
yeah,
still.
yeah, they were working out together. They were wearing like orange jumpsuits and they're like flexing and stuff. It was pretty funny.
No, I
Yeah.
imagine you were literally the test subject. That's
Right.
wild.
Yeah.
That
Seriously.
is
Yeah.
wild.
I should know him back in the MySpace days. Yeah. He didn't actually.
Mm,
The funny thing is, he actually didn't hack Apple. What they did was kind of clever because he's just an accountant, right?
yeah.
So he doesn't know coding or anything. But what they did was they created a fake website. And
Uh-huh.
the hard part is figuring out the celebrities' emails that they use for their iPhones or whatever,
Uh-huh.
or iCloud. But let's say if you're one of the celebrities, they would send you a message and be like, "Hey, Anacor, someone tried logging into your account. Was this you?"
Mm,
Right? As an email from Apple. So you click on the link, you say, "No, it was not me," and like to verify, enter your password. So you enter this password into this fake looking Apple website. Then they collect your password and
that's
just
it.
log in with. They never hacked Apple. They just tricked you into thinking that they did.
So you know what's mad, yeah, is that like I feel like that's like one of the scams, yeah.
Hmm.
Like, anyone relatively internet savvy you're gonna be like, yo, would you click a random link on an email? And more time they're gonna be like, no, I know, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's just because that happened, or if it's just like the kind of more gullible celebrities that actually fell for it, you know?
Well, this was back in 2014, 2015. So it was
Yeah,
almost like 10 years ago. So maybe a
yeah.
little. Yeah, you were just
Enough,
finishing high
enough.
school back then. Now that I know your
Yeah, true,
age.
true. Yeah, yeah, true that. Yeah, what time,
Uh,
bro? Yeah.
anyway, for those that are wondering, Speedy I think is fine. He's just
Yeah, he
he's
definitely didn't eat that hot chip, man. I'll tell you that.
there's no
He's
hot
more than
chip.
fine, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're eating the hot chip on his behalf eventually.
But,
Send me your address and so you're still in Japan, right?
yeah, yeah. So I don't have an address to send.
I'm
Uh,
sure we can make the hotels work. The hotels are
yeah.
quite nice. Where are you in Japan specifically?
So literally yesterday we arrived to Kyoto.
Hmm.
We've been in Tokyo for the last like couple weeks, or
Okay.
at least since Worlds. And then we're gonna do a bit of like Osaka, Nara, and then go back after Go Fest to Tokyo.
Mm.
Climb Mount Fuji,
Oh,
which
nice.
yeah, should be pretty sick.
Wait, where's Mount Fuji located?
It's near Tokyo.
Okay. Oh, I
Is
didn't
as
know this was
much as
near
I can.
Tokyo.
Yeah, it's like you can get there. I think the bus takes like a couple hours, something like
Dang.
that.
Still in Japan.
Yes,
Dude, that's wild. Japan's nice.
yeah,
I'm jealous.
yeah.
I mean, I've been
But I
back
was
for
gonna
about like
say,
a
yeah,
little
because
over a week,
like,
but I'm
yeah,
jealous.
because like your stay didn't seem very long. Like, how much did you manage to
No.
do? Alongside work.
So I was supposed to arrive so people don't know this, we pre-recorded a bunch of episodes, right? I think the last time I actually recorded something was over like 3 weeks ago with Dijon. And I wasn't sure what my travel plans were. I was talking about the visa stuff. But essentially, I I'll describe it to you because I don't know if you know it, but I was supposed to leave on the 31st of July and get to Japan on the 1st and then stay until the 14th. But then
Mhm.
because of all these visa issues and we need a work visa and it was none the fault of the casters because we were all in the same boat. It actually became such an issue that Wholesome wasn't able to be a host for the show, right? And he was supposed to be. So we'll talk more about that when we get into the World's recap. Um, but I luckily was able to. So I finally get my certificate and can apply for my visa on the Friday before I'm leaving, like 3 days before the first, right? So end of July. There's no way I get it in time, right? It's like 5 to 7 business days to process. I'm asking if there's any exceptions they can make. They're like, nah, there's nothing, right? And this is LA. So I'm sure there's a
Yeah,
lot of people in LA calling in favors, like, I know this person, I know whatever. And the LA consulate is like, we don't care, right? Some of
yeah.
the other consulates I think are a little bit more flexible with it. But after I turn it in, I'm gonna just risk it, right? I really want to commentate. So for those that are wondering if I would compete because I didn't have a travel award, I it's clearly not that because the Pokemon company was willing to still cover all my travel expenses, right? Because it wasn't my fault. So like, you know what? We'll still pay for your flight. We'll still pay for your hotel during Worlds, like we said we would, and we'll still pay you, right? They were still willing to pay us our
Oh,
full compensation.
nice.
So I could have just gone to Worlds and competed and still got paid as a commentator and got all my expenses covered.
Yo,
You
probably
know,
got paid more than champion.
well,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
okay, I was
I
making
wish. No,
assumptions.
yeah, no, no, not that much. Now, if I win on top of that, that'd be nice. But I'm not beating accent anytime soon. Uh, Although we might match up, but I'll talk about that later. Um, but so if anyone's confused about like, oh, why I didn't compete, like I just want to commentate. It's like that was first priority, even if I had all the travels paid and everything, right? So that was never a real thing for me. But so I just took the gamble. I was like, you know what? I'll hang on Friday. Maybe I get back the following Friday. Maybe I show up to Osaka Go Fest in time on Sunday. Who knows? And the Pokemon Company made some phone calls. They had their attorneys help us out, and the LA consulate was saying, you know what? We can finish it processing in like 2.5 days. We think we can get it done.
Nice.
It's like, okay, I got some hope, right? I'm not gonna get there on the Monday, right? The first, but maybe I'll get
Mm.
there right before Go Fest. And so I'm checking the progress. I paid for expedite shipping. So the weird thing is it's 15 minutes away from me, but I can't pick up my application. Everyone else in the world seems like they
It's,
could from the consulate, but me, right? LA consulate's like, we could only mail back to you. You can't pick it up. I'm like, I live like 15 minutes
it's
away.
so jarring.
Yeah, so they had to mail, so I had to use USPS. It's the only mailing service I could use, which is arguably the least reliable mailing service in the United States. It's the worst, right?
Yeah.
The state mailing service is the
That's
worst.
like a chance of you receiving it.
Yeah, and I paid for like
Not even on time.
I
Just
paid for the fastest possible, right? 1 to 2 days express. That's the best you could do. And I literally see that the LA consulate sends out my passport and everything and my visa Wednesday morning. I'm like, "Oh, we good, right?" Like, I booked my flight for Monday morning, I'll be fine, right? I get there at Saturday night in Osaka, we're chilling, right? My ticket's on Sunday, and I see a sent, I was like, "Alright, I should get on Thursday, right? I'll be fine." Thursday comes and goes, nothing happens, I don't get it, right? I'm like, "What?" Like, my flight's at 10 o'clock on Friday, I'm supposed to get there, like, 3 hours early, leave at, like, I don't know, leave at 6:37. They're not sending mail until 9 a.m. at the earliest. So I just pushed my flight back, and I pushed my flight back to 11:30 PM, and I
in the
in
evening
the evening, right,
on
on
Friday. On
Friday.
Friday, yeah. Okay.
So essentially, I'd be getting into, and it was gonna be a layover, because there's no direct
Uh-huh.
flights, and so I was gonna have a layover in Korea, actually. It was gonna be powered by a Korean airline. And I finally get my freaking passport at like 5 PM that Friday. I don't know, they waited till the
Yo.
last second, right? They went for the full 2 business days. I don't know why. It's in LA
Bruv,
too,
I'd be
right?
waiting outside my yard, like
I was just
just
checking
sitting waiting for
I
the
was checking
guy.
the online tracking. I went down to my mailbox and I checked like 10 times in 2 days, right? I kept opening up, it was empty, right? Yeah, and then, it was so bad. I
Uh,
don't know. I don't get it. Like, it was literally from a LA shipping the office to another.
yeah,
I don't know how they would made it if I lived anywhere else. Um, but yeah, so I get on this 11:30 thing. I'm just like, whatever. I just want to get to Japan at this point. Funny enough, so I'm Chinese, right? And I'm on a Korean airline. The worst part about traveling in Asian countries, so I realized for me, everyone thinks I speak their language, even I don't. So I'm sitting next to a white guy on the plane, and they're asking him stuff in English, and they come to me first, and they're like speaking to me in Korean. I'm like, I'm sorry, can you do English? And they're looking at me like, wow, like look at this Korean guy that forgot his native tongue, right? So they're like trying to explain to me in English.
Man's fully American now.
Yeah, yeah, that's fully American, right? I run into the same problem at Korea at their airport. Everyone in there thinks I'm Korean. And then again on the second plane from Korea, also speaking Korean. I land in Japan, everyone thinks I'm Japanese, so they're speaking to me Japanese. I don't speak
Oh
Japanese
mate.
too. And this is the worst part because when I finally make it to Go Fest in Osaka, I'm like I'm trying to get stuff from like I have Buffalon, I have Carnival, I have a bunch of North America and like Western Hemisphere regionals. No one's asking for anything. I'm next to Aaron and Ramberto, like, oh my gosh, I got all these great trades and stuff. And I was like, wait, I got Buffalon too. I'm really looking at the same Japanese person to ask them stuff, and they're just like waving me off, like, oh, it's okay, like they don't have anything for me, right? But they just assume I'm Japanese,
We have blue
yeah, or
everything.
from some like Asian countries there. So no one's coming up to me for anything.
Oh
So good thing
man.
I didn't print out. You know how you told me to print out the picture, right, with the sign. Good
Yeah,
thing I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
print that out,
Yeah,
because no
yeah.
one would have came for anything. It would have been a waste of ink. Yeah.
That is true.
Uh.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
kind of missed out on a good opportunity
Yeah.
there as well, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I guess what can you do?
But I finally made it there on that Sunday, so I got there like 6, 7 days later, which is a little unfortunate. But I was
Yeah,
able to go to Nara, which you haven't gone to Nara, right?
nice. No,
So
not
I
yet,
don't know
not
if
yet.
your hotel has this, but the hotel I was at had a hot
Mhm.
spring in it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Have you booked your hotel yet?
No, no,
I
not
can
even.
send
I
you.
think we were just gonna do a day trip.
Well,
But yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Well, I'll send you the address in case you
yeah,
decide to do it. The hot springs are
yeah.
great too, because it's like natural hot spring from like their waters and stuff. And if you drink too, right? Oh no, you don't drink. You
No,
don't drink. Okay,
no, no, no,
never
no.
mind. Well, I don't recommend this for people that do drink either. But they had sake at their Family Mart. And I went there with like Pastel and
Oh,
stuff, and we picked up some sake, and I was just drinking it, and the sake from Nara is actually really good. It was just like it's
what? Even from the family mart?
even from the Family Mart. I wish I bought more. Yeah, it's local. It's local sake to
Nice.
Nara because they had the deer on it, and it was
Yeah.
better sake than anything else I had in Japan. Actually, I didn't realize that time because the first
Oh,
sake I had in Japan it was because I was going from Nara to Yokohama,
yeah.
and I just drank the 2 bottles, and I go in the hot tub later. It was so relaxing. You should still go in the hot tub either way, but
Yeah, do you know what? I've got like a bit of a hot take. Hey, hot take on onsen, innit?
okay.
Yeah, is you know what? I love heat.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't love onsen.
Really? You've done it before?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and do you know what it is? Yeah, it's like okay. Before I did it, yeah, I was imagining it being like, like when you go into a hot shower, yeah, and you end up showering for about an hour because you just don't want to get out. Yeah,
No,
I
I
was
still
thinking it
don't
would
shower
be
for an
like,
hour. What do
you
you
know,
I don't remember the last time
no, 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 no. It's not all
Wait,
the
are you
time.
saying a shower or, like, take a bath? Like, the shower head
Shower.
coming from the top? What?
Yeah,
An
yeah,
hour?
yeah, yeah,
What do
yeah.
you do? I don't wanna
Do you
stand there
never
for
just
an
stand
hour
there?
straight. Okay, well,
Well,
you're right. Okay, you're
maybe
taking
it's
hour-long showers. Okay, go ahead, yeah.
not all the time,
Okay,
yeah, but sometimes it
okay,
calls for it,
okay.
yeah. So I'm like, oh, it's gonna be that kind of sensation, yeah, where it's just like it's hot enough where you're like, oh, I want to stay here forever, yeah, but it's not too hot that I'm like, oh, I'm burning, yeah.
Yeah.
But onsen, it feels like I'm burning, man. Like it feels like I'm burning, and then I can't breathe because it's like too hot.
Oh,
And for
really?
me, it's just a bit too
Yeah.
much. Where what I'm imagining in my head is somewhere to relax,
Yeah.
and it doesn't give me relaxation vibes.
Ah,
But that's just
I
me.
see, I
Like
see.
I'm the only one who has.
Is it because there's other people around too? Oh, okay.
No, 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 not even that. It's literally just the heat.
Mm.
It's like too hot,
What about jacuzzi?
and you can't turn it up
Yeah,
or down
you
either.
can't change temperature at all. Have you
Oh,
been in a jacuzzi before?
I think so. I'm gonna lean towards no, but it does sound like something I may have done. But I
Wait,
guess
oh, is jacuzzi not very common in the UK?
nah. I guess maybe if
Really?
you're rich, but
Oh,
yeah.
well, they have it a lot in, like, hotels in the United States. They have one in my apartment complex, actually.
So
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, if you visit LA in the next few months,
Uh,
I could show you.
the big
I've
Pikachu's
never
paying
really
you a
been in
lot,
it
yeah.
because a lot of people are
Like,
sitting there, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they don't
And
really. I feel like it's not really a thing in the UK now, but that's
oh,
just the impression I
gotcha.
get. Yeah.
Oh, never mind then. I
Mm.
won't send you my hotel details for Nara. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like you're gonna benefit too much.
Yeah, true, true, true.
But anyway, I went from Nara to Hakone, which is another hot spring place, so you could skip that place. But it was up in the mountains. It was really nice.
Yeah. You know what the
And
thing is?
then
These sound like such nice places, and I'm like, yeah, I want to be
they
there.
are, they are.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Anacor, everyone. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, yeah. It's the me
I
problem, it
will
seems.
say, if you have any tattoos, when you're going to these hot springs
Mm,
in Japan, just keep that in mind. They typically have little stickers you could cover your tattoos with,
okay.
but but if you have a ton of tattoos, you would probably have to request like a private hot spring, which
Yeah,
the place I stayed at in Hakone did have those. So you could have your own private, you could rent out your private room or have one in your like hotel room as well.
nice.
And I had one in my hotel room, which was super nice. Um, but I don't have tattoos, but my friend does, so that's why
Yeah,
we had to get a private one.
yeah,
But just something to keep in mind because they're definitely a little bit so on the conservative end in some respects. But yeah, I finally made it to Japan. So I ended up going there from the Sunday to the following Monday, so a little over a week.
yeah.
So
But
about
then
half
you're
the
like
trip,
working
but
half of it as well, so yeah,
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
But it was still fun though. It was still a
Yeah,
lot of fun. I wish I could stay longer, but we can only control what we can control.
yeah.
So but yeah, let's talk about I guess the YouTube comments from the last few episodes,
Okay.
and then we'll get into like the world's recap because we got some stuff to cover. Um, but going all the way back to our episode from 109. So this was 3 weeks ago, actually. So you're coming full circle here. Actually,
Yeah,
you made it
man.
onto two different episodes.
Let's go.
H
Speedy
five
Chief 3.
says, yeah, I have a really weird situation with Pokemon Go account bots. My area is desolate, about 4 gyms and maybe 16 or so Pokestops for about 20 kilometers. However, there are the same bots I see every time in every Mystic Gym. Steve Pokey 1, Steve Pokey 2, Steve Pokey 3, etc. And up to about 8 of them with similar names. But the weird part is that because no one plays in my area, I can do certain raids because there may be up to 8 to 10 bots in the raid as
Yo,
well. I don't know why the bots are in my area of all places to go, but who knows? I know they're bots because I remember seeing them all at level 38, and when I did a raid about a month later, every single one that was level 45. Do you
let's
know what
go.
is happening or how? Also love the podcast and keep up the great work. Dude, that sounds like a weird. I've never heard anything about that before,
Same, but I'm not gonna lie,
especially
I
in like a
would take
rural
that and
spot.
run. Like
Yeah,
you just got an entire raid team for free. Like that sounds amazing.
yeah, yeah. Who needs to remote raid
Yeah.
when you got a C Poke 1
See Poke One
through
and
raids?
family. Yeah.
I've never heard that before. I mean, yeah. I'm
I
trying to
know,
think
I know that
why.
happens in like
Yeah,
popular spoofing areas.
right.
But I mean, maybe C Pokey just thought, you know what, if I take a rural area, then I can take it all for myself, as opposed to having to like
Yeah.
fight, all the other bots to get in the same lobby and stuff like that.
That's actually a good point. So what H5 should really look out for. I guess if even if it existed, but they're not in gyms, you wouldn't know. Is if there's some like a C Pokey 9, right? Because there's
Oh,
like you can fit a bunch of people in a gym, right? But my guess is they have another C Pokey that's a different team color, knock them out, right, for their
yeah,
coins. And
that's
then maybe
true.
they're
That's
not even
true.
using that one to cop in gyms. I don't know what the point of having a bunch of bot accounts is. I mean, they're doing raids too, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's the purpose there?
I
But
mean, you asked that, innit? Yeah, but like, I'll just say, like, people like to play in varying different ways, and sometimes
yeah,
people are not even botting. I'm sort of like, what's the
yeah.
point? You know what I
Maybe
mean?
they
I
have an
don't
alt
know.
account they trade with each other
Yeah,
for.
who
I don't know.
knows? Who knows?
It is against terms of service. I personally don't even have the time to run an alt account, even if I
Bro,
want to, and it wasn't against terms of service. Like
yeah,
I don't know how people manage all these things, but
some people have a lot of time.
that's just my thing. There's a bunch of people talking about Steve Scroll Trapper is the MVP because we talked about say that if you listen to the end. So shout out to everyone that did that. Um, PPC says, I think one of the major benefits of Sylph and anything like Zygarde that comes up in the future is that they provide a solo play arena for all those battlers, especially in Asia that don't have much play action. Sure, NA and European battlers have a lot to do throughout the year, but you have to feel for the Indian battlers, for example, who only get one event in a year. Yeah, that's true.
Agreed. Yeah.
And none of the Indian battlers were able to go to Worlds too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the rumors were confirmed, and it was really unfortunate because I asked the reason, and it was literally just they're both under 18, and both their parents wouldn't allow them to go while they're like studying for to get into uni and stuff. So
Ah, dang,
yeah,
that's so
it's funny
tough.
as well because I saw some like Indian players being like, "Yeah, this typical Asian parent dilemma," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, that is true. That is
Yeah,
true."
yeah. I
Uh,
actually ran into Beelzy Boy. You know
okay.
Beelzy Boy?
Well, at Worlds.
On at Worlds
Oh,
on Body Slammers.
mm.
I didn't realize that he was from India,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
he's from India. I
yeah.
didn't realize that. Actually, how he approached me was it was super funny. It was right outside the World's venue in
Mm.
Yokohama. He's like, "Oh, you think you could make money off of my merch with my name on it?" I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Yeah." Well, at first I didn't know what he was saying, right? I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, you think you put my name on your merch and make money off of it?" I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Well, what's your name?" He's like, "I'm Scroll Trapper." I was like, "There's no shot you're Scroll Trapper." Like, it's so funny. I was like, "No shot."
Uh,
He's like, "No, I'm Beelzy Boy." I was like, "Oh, it's nice to meet," because I battled him so many times in
yeah.
GPL. Like, we faced Body Slammers too. I never faced him specifically in factions, but I know that he's always like very high up on the leaderboard for Go Battle
Mhm.
League and stuff, and he's a good battler. And I didn't realize he's all the way from India too. But yeah, he
Yeah.
was hanging out with what's his name? Uh Man, I'm blanking now. NA player. He's hopped around a lot of factions team. He's also on Body Slammers. Yeah, his
Hmm.
glasses. He almost qualified
Oh,
for
Trent.
Worlds, but didn't. Trent, yeah, he was with
Mm.
Trent. So it made sense because they're both on Body
Yeah,
Slammers, right?
yeah,
They're hanging out. Yeah, but so I guess he went to spectate and stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
he was like, yeah, I'm from India, but I didn't make the top two, and both our players couldn't go.
Yeah.
So
So
a little
unfortunate, man.
unfortunate, but
Yeah.
yeah. But I agree with PPC. I think it does. I mean, for the time being, until they find a way to get more players from APAC to join. I mean, it's just so
Yeah.
hard to compete, right? Like you talk about, like, oh, well, like a lot of the NA players did well in Worlds, but like there was just way more opportunities for NA players
Yeah.
to even go,
I mean,
right?
you know what? It's funny you say that though, because let me see. Like, I made a little some stats and stuff like that, and there's actually a decent amount of APAC team players in like the top 32. So there was
Yeah.
11 players from APAC in the top 32. Admittedly, like a few
How
of them is
many
Australia.
total?
So
How many? Yeah, I'll count Australia though. But
yeah,
how
yeah,
many? Yeah, there's actually a decent amount. Australia actually was polling a lot. I mean, they had three
yeah,
players
yeah.
there.
They were doing bits.
Like I
Yeah.
don't know what they're doing, but they're doing.
Oh,
I mean, people always underestimate them, but then they
they're
get
winning
three people top
CMP with
gunning.
these Australian IVs. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, unless you're accent, he's gonna win every CMP.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Um, Yeah.
Yeah, how
So
many APAC total was there,
there was, I
including
think,
Australia?
roughly 50 that qualified, if I remember correctly. So let me just double check this.
Okay,
So
because
about 50
Butters
that
kept saying,
qualified.
like, over half the people were from APAC.
Yeah, no, not over half.
I don't know where he was getting that stat line from. I was
But you know
like,
what the thing
"Really?"
is?
I was
I gave him like
I was
all
gonna
the
ask him that, but I didn't wanna grill him on the broadcast, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I gave him all the numbers, and I guess it just wasn't
Come on,
counting, innit?
Butters, what's going on?
So yeah, there was 50 players from APAC that qualified. However, of the players that qualified, four didn't attend. So there was 46 that qualified from APAC, or that played from APAC.
Oh, that's still pretty good. That's actually
Yeah,
still a very high
yeah, yeah, yeah.
percentage.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it
2 from
may be
India,
the
and
most
then
out of all the regions.
yeah, that's
Um,
really good.
and I think because a lot of like, obviously Japan get 20, which is already loads for just like one country. I don't say
Yeah.
they deserve it though, because like they are amazing players, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, 20 is, I think Japan kind of skews it quite a lot.
right, right, and
Yeah,
obviously most people from Japan, I assume all 20 from Japan were able to
all
make
of
it,
them,
right?
yeah, made it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just local to them.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wow,
But
okay, well,
I
that's
mean, you
really
know
good
what?
percentage.
Speaking of, the people who did and didn't turn up, um, do I want to mention? Okay, so obviously there was Tho who didn't turn up. A few people
Yeah.
who didn't turn up don't really want to go into it. Flipping Kokshiak, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know his
Yeah.
his reasons
I
for
saw
us?
that, I saw that. I actually saw him at the venue too. He's a lot taller than I thought he would be, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so for anyone who wasn't aware, Kokshiak was the Warsaw champion.
Mhm.
And I think like 1 or 2 days before Worlds, he's already in Japan, and he gets an email letting him know that he's not allowed to take part because when he competed at Warsaw, he put in the wrong age. Yeah. Now I kind of get his reasoning for why he put in the wrong age. He was like, well, sometimes if you put in like under 16, in some apps and things like that, they give you like a limited version or something like that. So
Yeah, but he went way over
yeah,
16, right?
yeah.
He's 15, right? He could have
I
put
think
16 or 17.
he did
He
like
put,
something like
like,
28 or something
28
like
or
that.
something. Yeah. He was like your age.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they'd already paid him and everything, and they were like, "Yeah, you can't." And so the reason he couldn't compete is because a similar reason to something we may have discussed in the past. With Pokemon Go, every country has a legal digital age of consent, and if you don't meet that digital age of consent for now, Pokemon won't let you compete. So, and the age is different between every country. So in Poland, the age of consent
Mm.
is 16, and he was 15 at the time. So
So he just wouldn't have been able to even play in
yeah,
general.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Not at all
So,
until next year. Yeah,
I mean, I guess the silver lining is he won a medal and some prize
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
for
unfortunate to
a
his
tournament that he
teammate
technically
Smetiak,
wasn't even able to
who
compete in, yeah.
yeah, who
That's
who could
wild.
have gone otherwise. So
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
unfortunate.
A little unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't know who I wonder who went back and even looked that up.
Well, I guess I mean,
Someone
you
snitched
probably
on
know
him, I think.
the process for like actually registering for Worlds, right? You get like a little RK9
Yeah.
like register thing. Do you have to put in details there?
Well, I assume Coxiac also registers to RK9, so you
Yeah,
had
yeah,
to
yeah.
like, I didn't have to do anything specific, I just click
Okay.
register, but, like, I didn't have to type in my info again, it was
Right,
already
right.
there.
So yeah, maybe
But
it's
my
not.
guess is when he pressed register, I mean, it was just registering him as a 28-year-old
Yeah,
as well as last time.
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think someone had to go back and check, right? Or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
maybe they
so
just noticed, they're like, "Wait,
yeah.
like, I know Coxiac is only 15, why is it" yeah, maybe someone noticed that.
Yeah. I guess once you got
Yeah.
like it's only those like 100 or so players that you have to focus on in it, and
Yeah, and he said his age too during the post-interview at the
yeah,
tournament, because I think
yeah,
they
no.
said that. They went back to the stream and found that well, how'd they even find the stream? Because is the VOD saved on the
Yeah,
Rocker's channel?
yeah, yeah,
They are?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, they stay for
yeah.
that long? Does he have a YouTube
No,
page
no,
or
no. He
something?
yeah, he re-uploads them to YouTube.
Oh, okay. Man, they did their research.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whoever
I
was
rate that. I rate that.
I mean, I don't know if I was them, if whoever looked into it, I'd even go bother to go through the VOD. I'd be like, "There's no way this guy's 28, like, there's no
Yeah,
like, I don't need it. I don't need video
bruv.
evidence."
I'd be like the scared intern, being like, oh damn, I messed up in it. Yeah, and be like, just hope nobody noticed. You
Yeah, yeah,
know? We
right.
already paid him the money. Like, what are we gonna do?
Mhm. They did,
Yeah,
they did. Yeah, he was already in Japan. A little
yeah.
unfortunate. Um, DH Chacon says, oh, this is talking about how I bought that anchor, right?
Oh
That
yeah.
big anchor.
Oh yeah.
I saw the anchor 40,000 on Prime Day and didn't pull the trigger. I know the 160-watt limit, but that's subject to the airline. Basically, that's going to be more hassle. Keep it under 100 watts. By the time this comment is read, we'll probably all be in the country, but have fun, eat good food, and meet people. These live events remind me of about the early days of the game when we came close to world peace. Hey, before I finish the rest of the comment, let me just say, I got it right here, dude. Let me hold it to my face. It's literally the side length of my head almost, and I
Bro,
have a
that is
big head,
huge.
right?
That is
Dude,
huge. The thickness is wild.
huge, huge,
Oh,
right?
you
If I had
could
my
knock
cat
someone
right
out
here,
with
I would
that.
show it to my cat too. It's bigger than like my cat's almost, and I made it through the airport no problem. USA and Japan, and I even flew to GoFest in New York with this.
Bro,
So
I don't believe that, man.
this is a real brick. This is heavier than like a real brick. It's actually shaped like a real brick. It's really nice. Yeah, I think I showed you in Japan when I saw you, right?
Yeah,
I was like, dude, I got it through security somehow.
that is
With all
wild,
my
man.
travel issues, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna risk it. I don't have time to like bother returning this and whatever. So
You're gonna come up on those little adverts being like, airlines hate him. This man imported an illegal
yeah,
battery with one
yeah,
simple trick.
yeah, yeah. Airlines hit him for this one simple trick.
Oh man.
Well, I got through. Anyways, DH Chacon says, I would have recommended getting a perm at luxury Japanese place. I've seen videos of it. It looks like a good experience. More content for you. I thought about getting the Squid Game red hairstyle, but I have to attend board meetings. On the trade sheet, I saw someone in Singapore Safari Zone with a trade sheet asking for a Quest Buzzwole. So I knew this guy was a hardcore PvPer. I had a spare at the time from the Sapporo makeover and gave it to him. Didn't ask for much, but it was a new person to share stories with when I travel. Oh, that's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't end up losing the bet, so I don't have to perm my hair. I
Yeah.
honestly I don't know if Speedy's even hit legend yet so far to
Well, we
this
just
day.
haven't seen him since, you know.
We haven't seen him. We haven't seen him. I personally saw him in New York for GoFest, but I didn't get a chance to ask. So
Just for all the
we'll see.
viewers, hashtag where is Speedy?
Dude.
Let's get that out there, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Honestly, I'll make that the title of this podcast. I'll post Yeah, seriously, where's this guy at? He's
Uh,
really dodging this hot chick.
yeah, oh,
He's
yeah,
really dodging it.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's
I
up,
wonder
but
if the hot chip's actually a hot chip that he bought or just a dyed Dorito, you
yeah,
know.
oh, that blue. Okay, so
Yeah.
he said he took it out the package and licked it and said it was really hot, but he didn't eat it, right? Dude, he took this out of the package like a month ago. This chip is like stale at this point. Like I
It's
don't
hot
know.
cardboard. Uh,
Yeah, seriously. Crocodile says, appreciate the shout outs, but seriously, Tone the Tiger needs to be on that hot chip already, taking his sweet time. Yeah, no kidding. And then also said, Anacor for Caster, give a Delion a run for his money. All the best in Japan. You should look into it. Have you ever casted anything like grassroots or anything like that?
Nah, so I don't have like a little casting reel to provide people, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
all I have is my finesse, you know. It's just be like, yo,
You're just gonna
just sit down with me for 5 minutes, you know. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah. Let's work out
Yeah,
that caster reel. Let's work out that caster reel. I think what do you call it? If anyone has a grassroots tournament they need help casting, hit up Anacor, right? I have his I was gonna say Twitter, but recently I just update all of our graphics to X at this point because I'm like,
yeah,
they're not changing their name, so
yeah.
I'm gonna. But hit up Anacor on X, and then if you need a grassroots tournament, shoutcast it.
Yeah,
He
hit me
needs
up.
he needs stuff for his caster reel.
Yeah, I do.
Uh, Greasy Cuisine says, "Wow, this one was top notch quality, lads. Gotta say, after what was discussed, I'm gonna have to come out and say it. Squirrel Chopper's back to MVP.
You know what?
uh,
Again, shout out to everyone for 2 hours of dedication.
yeah,
It
no,
was-
definitely. Teed Soda Pop. Pseudopop says, if Scroll Chopper 7P and Speedy is Tony the Tiger, what does that make Caleb? I don't know. I leave that up to you all. What does that make me? I'm Mr. Runner Up.
Do you know the image I have in my head? Yeah, and I don't
Yeah,
know
what
where this is
image?
from. Like, but there's like it's like a big cat. Yeah, so it's a cartoon of a
Uh-huh.
big cat. Yeah, and he's sort of in the
Yeah.
corner, like rubbing his hands like that. You know what I
What?
mean?
What is this? I need to see this.
I,
Uh
where is it? I wouldn't even know
yeah.
what to
When
Google
you
this right
find it
now.
later, send it to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the image I get. That's you. It was like
That'd be
rubbing his
good.
hands of like, what can
I'm
what
cooking
what pet do
something
you know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
I'm cooking something. Ryan Cogrove says, uh all jokes aside, Anacor, he's talking about the Skull Trapper MP. All jokes aside, Anacor, solid guest host. Hopefully everything Gucci with Tony the Tiger, and it looks like the 5K bet for next GPL season then. One more thing. Appreciate y'all bringing up Bernal's Impact, one of the captains and competitors who I learned a lot from in the early remote Sylph and factions. Always was super gracious in DMs, and his passing will be sorely missed. Much love to Brendan. Yeah, definitely. And then uh, Chad says, I need a t-shirt with this, by the way, get in the merch. Wait, what do I say by the way a lot? I'm actually not
Or,
sure what that one means.
I guess
Hmm.
like what is by the way in like quote marks or something.
No quote marks, but I think that's
Or
what,
maybe they just mean by
I
the
don't
way.
know.
Like, I
Chad
mean t-shirt by the way.
Hardy, yeah, Hardy's going to have to explain that one a little bit more detail. But we're gonna be working on some merch soon. And then I had some comments from the Dijon episode. I don't know if you had the
Mm.
chance to listen to it, but we
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
about
I did.
like
Yeah.
a deaf win rule. So Maud Davis says about the deaf win, I totally understand the premise and the sportsmanship, and maybe this falls under the 1% gray area. But what about what happened to Rise where he pressed the wrong move because he forgot which side the correct move was on? Dude, okay, pause on this comment real quick because it's something that Speedy brought up, right? And
Mm.
man, like freaking Rise and Speedy had to ruin this death win roll, right? Like the odds of people actually doing that is that like 1% or less,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Rise, why are you pressing that shadow ball, right? And two, Speedy, why are you bringing up that as the one exception? Yes, I guess that is a possibility, but
yeah.
like I don't know.
Do you know what
Okay,
the thing is though?
if
Yeah.
you really want to be like specific about it, you could look at the tap area where they're tapping, and if
Yeah.
they're tapping at the right move, that might
Yeah,
be
yeah.
one way around that
I
one
agree.
percent gray area.
No, because
But
you
yeah,
know
what
what
were
the
you gonna
thing is,
say?
you say this, yeah, but it's like and I saw this at Torino, right? Like on
Mhm.
stream. But both of the French players were literally poised to win their match. Yeah, they were
Oh, and
in
then
the
Joe pressed the
position.
yeah, he didn't press the psychic, he threw the
Yeah,
ice
yeah.
punch.
So they both
He
fumbled it.
meant to throw the ice punch, he just, like, didn't think
Yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't
Okay.
realize that he reached the psychic at the same counter energy,
Yeah.
right?
So more so, I guess, than Dudu, who
Yeah.
over farmed on his not was it? I think it was the Charizard. He over farmed on his Charizard when he didn't have to, But he's,
Mhm.
you get like some YouTubers where they're just like, well, it's good to like always play optimally,
Yeah.
um, which is fair. But he was one off on his counts, and as soon as
Mhm.
he realized it, he was like, I literally just threw the game. Like this wasn't necessary. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah.
you say that obviously at a high level of the game, these mistakes happen less and less, but they still happen. So
They still happen.
it's a
They
difficult
do.
one to
Yeah,
assess.
Rise Occasion, one of the best players in the world, did make that
Yeah,
mistake. When I
yeah.
saw that, I was like, "Dude," I was like, "Man, what is this guy doing?" I was like, "He really
Literally.
farming the content on stream."
Oh
But
man.
it happens.
Yeah.
Maud Davis continues, I also had a self match where my Trev base barely survived the weather ball from Pelper with the C bomb ready to KO. I didn't expect to survive, so my finger wasn't in position. And I pressed on the line of the C bomb circle, and it triggered a shadow ball instead of C
Oh.
bomb, and a wing attack took me out. Even though it looked like the C bomb was pressed, the Sylph judges ruled it on the line, and no rematch was granted. I'm not arguing against F wins. I really don't know the right answer is in terms of judging. Yeah, it is a it is a dicey issue. I think the majority of times where Def Win would fall into place, it's pretty clear, right? But I think there are some
Mm,
murky areas, and I'm just glad I'm not in the judge's shoes because I think that is something worth considering. But
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. Yeah, I think it's better than just straight up rematch though. When it seems like Def Win should have been this situation.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm still like on the fence because again, like I think in
Well,
like
we'll wait till you
Dijon's
compete and
situation.
you're in a Def Win situation. You don't get
Yeah, yeah,
it. You'll be
obviously,
seeing a
yeah, yeah,
different
yeah. I
tune.
know, I know. But I mean, I ain't in that position, so you know. But I think it's like with like Dijon's example, it was his own discretion
Hmm.
to give the death wind arrow, and I feel like maybe leaving it at that. But the thing is, if death winds aren't in the rules, then as a player who you're expecting to get a death win, you can't really like argue for it because it's not in the rules. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So even if your opponent doesn't give it to you, you can't really be mad because again, it's not in the rules. If you don't get a
Mhm.
rematch, there's a different question. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I got a question for you. Put you on the spot. If you were the opponent and your opponent lagged and didn't get the move, would you concede and give them the death win even if you don't need to?
yeah, I think I've done this before,
Game 3,
bruv. Okay when I had a match against Nezabethan, right?
grand finals. You go to Hawaii or you don't go to Hawaii.
And now we're now we're in a
Ah,
different
see.
situation. The grand finals,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know,
Or just
man.
say game number 5 for grand finals.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, in that situation, I don't know. No, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's your
You
answer.
so you've been in a situation you did grant the win to the
Yeah,
opponent,
yeah, yeah.
but it wasn't the
Like
grand finals
there's been
match,
a
right?
few situations where it's like um, where there has been lag, and instead of like calling a judge and going for a rematch, I'm like assessing it, being like, okay, but you know, who has the higher attack stat, or like, do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? In it, yeah, where I'm just like, okay, well, obviously it wasn't going to be in my favor, so I'll just give it to them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll see how the judging looks for next season too, because I think we made a lot of improvements for judging from season 1 to season 2,
Yeah, for sure.
and I think that part of it is also a lot of community members stepping up and just judging. Like
Hmm.
Scrap and Pete, I don't know if he judged any in season 1, but he's been just full on
Yeah,
diving in, right? I mean,
and he
I
was
think
head
King
judge,
like
right,
judged some
for Worlds.
at Worlds. I don't know
Mm.
actually, but he was definitely
Yeah.
one of the judges too, right? And like Yo Yes, like Need for
Mm.
Speed. I think a lot of these people they were like more on the competitor side in season 1, but
Hmm.
they just went full on judging season
Yeah.
2, which was I mean not full on, maybe they can be like once or twice, but they were definitely prioritizing judging. Dancing
Mm.
Rob, great example
Mm.
too, right? I mean he just didn't even
Yeah, that's
compete, he
true.
just
Yeah.
judged all except for outside of Worlds. Ryan Coco says, really cool to hear the judging perspective from Dijon. Personally, in his camp when it comes to sportsmanship, just a bad look, and for the content is a poor excuse. Oh, he's talking about in terms of BMing. Wait, what do you think
Right.
about BMing? You think
Oh, mate, do you know what? This is interesting because actually the something that Dijon mentioned in that episode was pretty applicable during Worlds. Um, my opinion on BMing is the same as yours. Like, I think it's fine. Like, if you know the opponent, then it's fine. If you don't know the opponent, right, and you don't have any friendly rapport with them, then you are literally just like shoving something in someone's face. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like when you like, you'll like insult your friends, right?
Uh huh.
If you use those same insults on a random person, you are literally playing, roulette with them. Do you know what I mean? Because they're obviously not
Right.
necessarily going to understand the context.
Hmm.
So I agree with your take. Like, it definitely has to be someone that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Um,
Or you BM when you're losing. Like you'll throw an earthquake at
yeah,
Altaria because you know you're already gonna lose, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's fine. And but what was interesting is something that Dijon mentioned. I think it was Dijon who mentioned it. It was about the Japanese take on BMing, that they obviously
Hmm.
don't do it and find it very disrespectful. That said, Inadequates threw a sludge bomb at Kakuzu to win the game. And
Yeah.
actually, personally, I thought that was kind of good in a way because um again, this is assuming that like all the conditions were fine, right? But
Hmm.
Kakuzatoho is one of the more vocal and active Japanese players in terms of getting involved in like other region things and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He's
I
helped
think
us
his
a lot
English is
throughout the
pretty good,
season.
right?
It's decent. He at
Yeah.
least put effort in translate and stuff like that as well.
Mhm.
And he's a very active member of the Japanese community. Um, and he's been helping us like the whole of last year. So I feel like he's a good person to have this interaction with, because he can definitely understand like a different side of the coin. In addition,
Mhm.
he was at Worlds last year. He's familiar to the competition in general, and I think he was saying that him and Inadequence had a brief chat before their game, and he was made to feel very like on friendly terms. So he didn't take it as a disrespect. He took it as like, yeah, I messed up, and you got the win fair and square. So
I
I
see.
thought that was a good sort of example, because again, like I'm assuming that Inadequence would have also assessed this and been like,
Mhm.
it's fine for me to do this because we've had this friendly discourse beforehand. So
Right, right.
yeah,
Okay. That's good. Um, yeah, I didn't even think about that at the time too. I didn't commentate that battle, but
okay,
I do remember the BM, yeah, like
yeah,
in the end of, I think it was game 3.
yeah,
I see. The worst is when you BM in game 1, right? Like it's not even over yet, and you might
yeah,
just
yeah.
lose, right? So
It makes you
so
look
that
worse. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, Ace to Face says, "Hey fellas, Artemis Dragon here on episode 110. Dijon said something about that actually got me thinking that GBL will never achieve TCG numbers. Did he mean in terms of viewership and or participation? I don't know if he was around for the PP hype leading up to the release back in December 2019, because the big content creators were pulling in 5K plus viewers on live stream. I was a witness. And I'll admit that the growth and hype have died down almost instantaneously, but it's only because Niantic was and still isn't paying attention to the needs of the people who love this feature. Remember the peak of COVID in 2020? We had main series game content creators streaming Go. Ninja, who doesn't even play Pokemon games to my knowledge, was on Twitter asking about what to prioritize with his elite
Yeah,
TMs.
I
This was our
remember that. Yeah,
moments. We were getting those TCG numbers, but because Niantic was distracted from what we can assume and was busy making questionable decisions, everything fell apart and we haven't recovered since. But the bottom line is this: we're not going to see those numbers ever again unless Niantic starts looking at the bigger picture. They really need to. Go has the best user friendly Pokemon PvP system to understand for casuals, get them interested again, and suddenly you'll see those numbers go back up again. GG's. P.S. I would love to see style points being added to PvP. Earning points just for winning is kind of boring. Imagine getting extra 5 elo points for landing a hyper beam that does critical damage. That would be pretty hot. That'd be, hey, style points would be pretty nice.
that's asking a lot
Um,
of Niantic,
that
aren't
yeah, Marshall's gonna be top of the leaderboard with those with that implemented.
they?
um, yeah, that's actually a really really great point, Artemis Dragon. The viewership, I mean, during right when COVID started, I remember when GBL dropped, like it was like prime, like, like YouTube, like Twitch content, right?
Yeah,
Especially because when COVID started, you didn't have to walk through sets. So you don't have
right.
to like do like 2 sets and then like end your stream, right? Like you couldn't do, like it was so
Yeah.
weird back
Got a
then, right?
little.
Right when it's yeah, I remember like Arrow doing that at first when he first started streaming before COVID started. He had to like end his stream or he's like, I'll be right back in 30 minutes. I gotta finish walking 5 kilometers, right? So I think COVID did open a lot of doors for content creation in PvP in general. But yeah, I think Artemis Dragon is right in many ways. It was, I mean, if you just look at YouTubers' numbers, right, we're not pulling the same views, and not just me, but like everyone
Yeah,
across the board as we used to. But the amount of people that play Pokemon Go is still a lot. Like just casually, like I'm walking around. I don't know. Osaka's a little hard to tell because I don't really understand what a lot of the locals are saying. But
yeah,
just walk around New York Go Fest, people are like, "Oh my gosh, I got a shiny Zangoose!" Blah, blah, blah. Like they're freaking out, right? Even though it's been out shiny for a while, and at previous Go Fest too. But like for them, that's their first time. Right? There's a
yeah,
lot of casuals that still play this game. There's tons of people still playing this game. It's just that getting into PvP is like a huge stepping stone, and there's a lot of accessibility issues that I think is honestly one of the biggest issues right now with PvP. Like I think we could talk about like meta being a little more stale, meta champ being overpowered, all this stuff. But I think accessibility is always going to be the biggest issue at the moment. And I mean, if you've been seeing, I mean, Draco Viz, so
yeah,
you've seen the tweet on the charge TMs, right? Like even
yeah,
charge TMs is becoming an issue for not just the casual players, but even for the hardcore
yeah,
PvPers.
yeah.
So
It's true.
definitely something there. Um, But yeah, we'll see. I mean, speaking on that too, we'll talk more about this in the world section. Or maybe
Mm.
not. We'll just cover it now. The viewership for Pokemon Go was actually higher than any of the other Pokemon games.
It was
It was like
insane. I
really
didn't
high on
even believe
Twitch.
the numbers. Like I didn't know the numbers until someone was
Yeah,
reading them off, and I was like, "Whoa!"
yeah.
I didn't even know there was that
And
many people engaged.
right, and a lot of people are saying, "Well, Pokemon Go had that giveaway. You watch 30 minutes, you get the codes, blah blah blah, all that
Yeah,
stuff." Yes, but they had giveaway codes for all the other streams too, to my knowledge, for all the
yeah,
other games. So yeah, you can say that, but where were I think the amount of people, I think people still underestimate, including Pokemon Go players,
mm,
underestimate the amount of people that actually still play this game.
yeah,
There's millions, right? It's
mm,
just that the amount that actually play PvP is not as much. So yes, maybe a lot of people that don't PvP came in to watch the stream from the
mm,
giveaway, but that's just because there's that many people still invested in the game, right?
yeah.
There's not as much of a player base for VGC. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think the player base is as big for VGC.
I
The
think
the
it's hard to
consistent
like,
core
because
base players
obviously
are there, right?
casual VGC is just someone who buys the Pokemon game. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Innit? So it's a bit,
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't feed in as well as a casual Pokemon Go player into
Yeah.
PvP. So it's probably harder to assess in it because I guess if you look at like everyone who's bought you know Scarlet and Violet, it's probably
Mm-hmm.
millions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think for sure, like even if everyone was there for Pokecode, that's how many thousands, tens of thousands of people who could potentially see something and be like, "Yo, I want to try this," you know.
Yeah.
And even if you convert 1%, that's a lot of people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I think
I think I read somewhere too, or someone said it somewhere, that Pokemon Go is actually the most played Pokemon game of all time. I don't know if
uh,
like cumulatively definitely,
yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know if they mean currently or not. It's hard to assess, but
yeah,
I think the active users for Pokemon Go is actually still pretty high. A lot of them might be just casuals. They log in like once or
yeah,
twice a day, and whatever. They don't GBL and
mm,
stuff, but that's just a lot of untapped potential that we can definitely dive into.
yeah, for sure.
Like Artemis Dragon said. So
Mm,
we'll see. We'll see. I'm hopeful. I think yeah, we'll talk more about this in the world section, but I'm
mm,
definitely hopeful. Ryan Colgrove says, looking forward to, and this was actually a comment on the Dracoviz episode with you
oh,
and Polly joining us,
let's
saying,
go.
looking forward to watching Worlds. Personally, if I had to choose one person to win it all, I say Crescent Angels on his home turf gets hit. Or as an audible mention, it's Axon, who has
Oh,
also been close before, just has been dominant in the events he has attended. Regardless who wins, I'll be rooting for all my friends, obviously. Should be a special event. Wish I was there next year, maybe Worlds in the US. Man, Ryan Cover was like
fortune teller, bro.
5 steps ahead of everyone. Dude, let me see
That's
this.
two out
He's
of three
this
predictions.
comment is edited too. What was his edit?
Oh,
That's what I need to
does it say
see.
when it was edited as well?
No, it
No.
doesn't. It was posted 13 days ago. Let me see if I can see the edit, because that would be, because I don't think he did. But if actually threw the accent part after the edit, actually I don't know if I can see it. I don't know. Anyway, I believe Ryan Cogrove that he
Yeah,
just posted that. Wow. The
yeah,
only the only person I've really seen that said Axon might take it all too. I mean, it wasn't his first choice, but second choice is
mm,
still pretty good. Because I think a lot of people on Twitter, everyone leading up to it was like, "Oh, it's gonna be with Dash. It's gonna be
yeah, yeah,
like Human Catcher Bug or something like that,"
mm,
right? But even though Axon's been so consistent, he wasn't getting the respect he deserved.
yeah.
But you know, he sure
Proved
now. He
everyone
sure
wrong.
now.
Yeah.
He did. He did. All right. So, yeah, getting into the topics for this week. I mean, let's talk about Worlds real quick too. You were there,
I was.
as a spectator, right?
Hmm.
And I didn't get a chance to meet your brother actually, because you said
Oh
I
yeah,
got to meet
yeah,
your
yeah,
brother a couple times.
yeah.
Does he look like you?
Not really. I wouldn't say so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
we definitely got a split of genes in it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
But yeah, Worlds was honestly it was great. I mean, okay, one thing I think like side events were a bit more difficult to do from what I was hearing.
Mhm.
But in a way, I feel like that's not too bad because it means as a spectator, you feel less bad about just sitting there and watching, because you wanna sit
Mhm,
there and watch at the same time you want to do side events. If side events are
mhm.
difficult to do, then it means you can, focus your time on sitting and watching. And did you get to sit? Maybe you didn't because again you were working, but did you get to sit on like the grassy area with like the trees and the
No.
beanbags? Oh, that
Oh,
was
what with,
amazing.
like, the cherry blossom and the taxi and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
No, there are a bunch of people
That
sitting there
was
already, though.
so
It
good.
looks nice.
Yeah, bro, all it
Yeah.
was just floor. Yeah, but it was genius. I was like, I want this floor at every event,
Wait, was it
And
AstroTurf? Was it, like, fake grass?
AstroTurf, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like they had the
Mm.
big screens right in front as well, so you could just sit there and like watch all the action.
Oh, so you could
Bro,
watch from the AstroTurf?
yeah.
Wait. How was the audio from there? Could you hear the audio?
Uh, I think so. I can't really remember. I only did it for Championship Sunday, innit? But I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. It was
Oh,
great.
championship from there, yeah, because it's just one game at a time, so it's not a
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah,
Yeah, so you can hear everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that was
Huh.
pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't get to sit there, but I want to take some pictures from there. But there's always people there.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting off on Worlds, I was already getting goosebumps. Like when they did the traditional like drum
Yeah.
ceremony, right? I was like, oh, this is like hype, right?
That's
I was
lit.
getting goosebumps just watching it. Yeah, it was great.
I love the PV
Um,
Pokes comment, impeccable move timing. That was yeah.
that's true.
Yeah,
Better timing than
really good.
most of us, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. It was really nice. Yeah, the venue was great too. I remember
Mm.
when I saw the venue backstage on my rehearsal day on Thursday, there was like a monitor backstage showing the camera of the front stage, showing the venue and like showing the stage
Mhm.
setup. And I remember I was just trolling Aaron Zhang, who's the VGC caster, who a lot of people mistaken me for. I'll talk more about that actually later. That actually didn't happen, but there was something else that happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, he comes into rehearsal, right, a few minutes after me. I'm like, "Yo, like, look at man, CGI looking real good these days, Aaron. Look at how good the CGI rendition of the stage looks." He's looking at it, he's like, "Yeah, that looks pretty good." I was like, "I'm just messing with you. It's actually the stage. This is live." He's like, "No, it's not really." I was like, "Yeah, like go around the corner." And he goes around the corner and sees the actual stage too, which is really cool.
Mad.
Yeah, they had like a koi pond and stuff, like projected on the ground. It was
Wow.
really dope. Yeah, that was really cool. So, well, I was gonna say no, I don't think anyone really thought. I can't remember. Maybe one person thought I was Aaron Zane, but it wasn't like super common. But I was talking to PvP Steve, who was at the
Uh-huh.
event too, as a spectator, one of the creators at the event too. He told me that people came up to him thinking that he was me. They're like, "Oh, you're Caleb, right?"
Bruh.
Yeah. What?
Nah.
PvP Steve's not even full Asian either. Like,
I don't think he's even slightly
I
Asian. I mean, I guess,
he's half, right?
Australia, right? Wait.
Yeah.
He's half Asian?
I think so. I think he's half Asian.
Really?
Like
I mean, I
ethnicity-wise,
don't
yeah.
know.
He's
I
from
don't know.
Australia. But
Oh,
either way,
right.
he doesn't look full. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He looks different enough, right, that you wouldn't know for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah.
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 Well, it
Um
couldn't be me.
yeah, I don't
That
know.
is
People yeah,
uh,
people get real confused, I guess.
really excited for Worlds.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I'm commenting, he's wearing, like, just a regular, like, T-shirt, like, it's just, like, he's not even
Yeah.
dressed up, right? If he was wearing shirt and tie, that might be a different story.
I
He's, like,
honestly
in the
couldn't
same
imagine a more different pairing in it. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah, if people start mistaking Butters for me, then we'll really
yeah.
know something's wrong with the world.
Yeah.
But speaking of Butters and other commentators, so unfortunately, like I said before, Wholesome wasn't able to join because of visa issues. Like he just couldn't get his stuff approved, right? So he just could not get approved in time. He went there just to spectate. Um, and like I said before, like the Pokemon company still took care of us, right? So it wasn't like they didn't shaft him on his flights or anything like that. Like he still had that all covered, which was nice of them to do. Um, but we brought on Not Rob May as a guest, which
Mhm.
was a guest host essentially. And I thought he did a great job for his first
Yeah.
official thing. Like I would have been like
Bro,
real nervous,
first
right? And
official
like
thing being
messed up.
Worlds as well. And also,
Yeah.
like, because I thought he was going to be brought on as an analyst. I think that was like the initial
Hmm.
thing. And they stuck him on for some games.
They
I
did,
was like,
yeah.
yo, this
He
is
was
lit.
casting a Speedy. He
Yeah.
got some hype games too. The Accent versus
Yeah.
Roots Master in the winners bracket, like that was some good
Mad.
games.
Yeah.
I remember the other side games. So I remember that specific one. I was like, dude, that's a good one to cast. That was one of
Yeah.
the best, like best of threes I've seen.
Yeah.
Especially that game three. It was just
Bro,
like
accent
the
would
stuff that
do all the
Axel was
calls.
doing. You're just like,
Yeah.
yo, what?
I was thinking about that
Yeah.
earlier today, and I was just like, th- like the level of foresight and understanding of where he's like, you know what, I'm behind, yeah, so
Mhm.
I just have to, I have to take this risk. But like
Mhm.
3 or 4 times, and I'm like, yo, this is. He had
Yeah,
his number,
it's
man.
so
He had
wild.
his number.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he definitely does and still does apparently.
yeah, yeah. True.
I gotta say too, right? Um, before on our last episode when we recorded together, it
Mhm.
was just me and you filling for Speedy. You talking about all the EU hype and everything, but
Hey, you
looks
know
like
what? Hey,
they were the first region out of the 4 regions to be
hey,
knocked out of the,
wait.
everyone had their hopes and dreams on Scaffold, and he can only do so much right by himself.
Okay, okay. Okay, first of all, yeah.
You
Let
got
me just
inadequates
say,
losing to El Shay with only 5 Pokemon.
yeah. Your team still lost to the pasta people, yeah. So
Okay,
let
okay,
me put that there
yeah,
first, yeah.
true. I did what I
Okay,
could. I got
okay.
my 3-0, right?
All
I
right.
I I played. I only lost one set the entire King of the Hill.
Okay,
Unfortunately, it
okay.
was Jonathan Kelly, which was probably the worst part about it. But I'll take it.
And then you know what, Scafo, yeah. So let's take a little look at
Wait,
his
let's
run.
talk about we're talking about factions here. Who won factions worlds though? It was Elite
It
TM's
was
North
Elite
America
TMs, yeah,
team.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm not saying North America's bad. Yeah. I'm saying like,
Yeah, of course you
some
can't say it. I mean,
respect
if we look at
on,
worlds,
yeah, yeah,
there's no way.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
Some respect on the EU names.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, look at Scafo,
Oh,
yeah,
again, no hate on Inaquis. He played amazing against El
yeah,
Shay. It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, which made it even more crazy of a set that El Shay was able to
Uh,
2-0. Yeah.
and also, actually, top 32, yeah, 9 EU players, 9 NA players. So
I mean, that's fine, but
there's,
top three NA players, 0 EU players. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
well,
that's a stat line that matters, right? Like,
hey, hey, did our best. Scafo did his best.
yeah.
So
It's
Scaffo's little line here, right? So he wins the first match,
mhm,
loses his second match. So he wins the first match 2-0, right? Loses
mhm,
his second match 0-2 to its accent, right?
okay.
And then he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches. Yeah.
Mhm,
He 2-0'd every single one except for the one against Harjeffi. And then he loses
mhm.
0-2 to Rubik's Master. So he only lost to the two finalists.
That's pretty
Seven
good.
match run in the losers bracket, and
That's pretty good.
2-0s pretty much consistently. Like the only win where he conceded was against Harjeffi. So there's
That's
that's our best stat line we've got for this tournament.
yeah, I know you dug deep for that one
I
too.
really did. I really.
For the entire EU
I
region,
was gonna
this is the
pull
stat.
every little bit out I could.
Pretty impressive. I will say I personally am a little bit surprised too
Mm,
from the NA performance because I know that as I don't even have bias for NA because I'm from the region because I think
mm,
we talked about it before. I was like, I don't actually care like what region people are from. I think a good player, like I thought well I guess I thought Kimi Sui is gonna win it. But I before I saw Kimi Sui's performance, I was mostly saying like, oh, there's no way Crescent Angels doesn't take it, right, this
right.
year, especially after last year.
Mm,
Um so I actually don't have a specific NA bias in general,
mm,
me personally, but my NA bias is probably as a commentator. Most of the tournaments I commentate are NA,
right.
so I see a lot of the NA gameplay, which is why, like for me, I'm thinking, wow, someone like Kimmy Sui might take it all because
Mm,
I've seen his gameplay under a microscope and it looks so good, right?
yeah.
Or someone like with Dodge or someone like Rise, etc. And so that's why I was surprised because I haven't watched really any of the battles from Japan. A lot of the APAC region I haven't seen. I know you all sent me some footage to look at, but again, those are just like one-off battles. Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough, and then EU as well. I've seen a lot of battles from EU, not as much from LATAM. But I was just like, well, I personally commentate the NA one, so I definitely have a bias in seeing what I can see. I see what they can do. I haven't seen what the other players can do.
Mhm.
So that's why I picked Kimmy Sweet because I was like, I've only seen what he can do and what the NA players can do. But the NA players, they showed up this year, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder, part of it's also I wonder if because there's so many more NA tournaments, the NA players have a lot more experience on stage and playing in person. But I say that, but then Ruby's Masters only played in 2 tournaments,
Yeah.
including Worlds. So like the
Yeah.
experience part doesn't actually like make
Yeah.
too much sense. His team was genius though. His team was really
Yeah.
cool. Like that was like
Honestly,
by far the
like
coolest team I've seen.
Yeah, for sure. I felt like DD in the right hands can definitely go far, but again, it's like about it being in the right hands, and then his
Mhm.
team composition around it as well was, you know, really, really amazing.
Phenomenal.
And it's like a lot of people were saying like a lot of his matches, he managed to RPS his opponents, and I'm thinking like, well, that's just phenomenal team reading. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
He's really got their number. He knows exactly the kind of adjustments they're going to make going into games two
Mhm.
and games three, and he plays towards that. And honestly,
Yeah.
it worked every time, but nearly every
Yeah,
time.
and also you can only RPS your opponent so many times. Like
Exactly,
he
until
pulled off some pretty incredible stuff. Like you
yeah,
don't get to second, no one gets a second place in the world with RPS, right?
no,
Like, I mean, and if they do, then they are the best team reader in the world, and they're like just
exactly.
reading your mind, right? And that
It's
in
never
itself is
it's
impressive.
never chance at that point. It's like
Yeah,
it's always
yeah.
skill.
People that
Um,
claim it's just RPS don't know what they're talking about. Yeah,
no,
I don't know what I mean. Yeah, that's I'm just gonna say it like that. They could come at me if they want, but
yeah,
I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, really impressive performance from Rubik's Master, Axon obviously, but also with
hmm
Dodge too, making
yeah,
third place. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
he had some dude that set against Axon in the winners finals was like some of the
yeah,
most intense back and forth. Like when you watch them play, you're when I was watching it, I was like, that's why they're in the top 3. Like,
yeah,
that's like, you're watching it, it's no coincidence, right? The level of gameplay, like, it was just so crazy what they're doing, and, like, Pokemon Go PP seems so simple on the surface
mm,
level, but the little things that both of them did in those games were just so incredible,
yeah.
and it came down to that crazy game 5. I really thought Wadashi was gonna take it all.
I mean, honestly, I think us in the crowd as well. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there was about a minute where we were like, "Oh yeah, this is Wadage's game."
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Got a
it's
psychic,
Saxon's
got
game. It's
Umbreon.
Saxon's game. He's got
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Oh, this is Wadage's game. Like for sure, it was like so much back and forth.
Oh yeah, I was
Uh,
watching that, and then
yeah,
again, there's a lot of back and forth between Wadash and Brewix Master too, and it came
yeah,
down to another game 5. But
yeah.
um, a lot of people favored Wadash going into that, and I
Mhm,
think given how large of a scale Worlds was, I was like, dude, the odds of him winning are still pretty low, right?
mhm,
In my opinion, but he did really really well still
yeah,
given those odds, right? He getting third place after being so consistent since
mhm,
Hartford regionals is like, dude, that's actually crazy, right? I mean,
yeah,
like compared to other people that done well since then, like they didn't really even come close,
yeah. It's
right?
insane. I mean, for those who don't know, he also won the Silph
So forth.
World Championships
Mhm.
as well. Um,
6-0, 6-0. Hey,
yeah,
look,
I
I'm in
shouldn't have
good
brought that.
company now, right?
Yeah, shouldn't have brought
I
that.
got Italian on my side too that knows the feeling of a 06, and
Yeah,
it's not a great feeling, but
yeah,
I sympathize. I
yeah,
sympathize.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, Wadash was making crazy plays there. I remember in that
Insane.
last game that he won, he threw a frenzy plant on CMP because he
Yeah.
expected the combo play. That is nuts. Because if the combo play didn't happen, he just loses
No,
that
no,
game.
it wasn't CMP though. He waited a bit.
Oh, he
And
did.
so did Aspercelto as well. He also waited.
Oh.
So it was like just
That's even
like five
wild.
head reads,
I think it
It
ended
was
up still
wild.
being CMP because they both waited, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah. But it was wild.
crazy.
And then like I think a bit before that it was like no shielding what could have been a blast burn or something like that. It
Yeah.
was bro, he was mind
Yeah.
reading at that point. It was wild.
He was playing incredibly well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
going
know what?
from
There was a
0-6.
tweet of his on like maybe the day before Worlds or something like that, and it was like in response to a prediction tweet, and he was saying he was like, "Oh, I'm flattered that everyone thinks I'm going to win it, but obviously there's a lot of good players, and it's like a lot of burden to think that everyone thinks I'm going to win it as well." And I was a bit worried
Yeah.
for him at first because I was just like, he's obviously had to tackle mentality, game mentality issues throughout the season, and this is, I guess a similar form of like, personal pressure where you're like, well, everyone expects me to do
Mhm.
well. I really have to do well. So, considering that on top of all of that, he did amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and he kept
Mm.
it together too. I mean, you could tell. I mean, he's grown a lot in the past year, like the maturity
Yeah.
level too. You can see, like, and he was like very gracious about taking third place, right? He
Yeah.
had great
Yeah.
sportsmanship throughout, so it was. Man, I mean, hey, congrats to him too. I mean, third place
Yeah.
in senior worlds and then third place in like masters worlds is like no easy
Yeah,
feat. You know,
exactly.
like
Yeah.
he's there's in my mind, there's no way he doesn't qualify for Worlds for
Yeah,
a
for
third
sure.
year straight, and I'm very excited to see how he performs there. So yeah, really congrats to him too for that run. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then you got Axon who had one fluke at NAIC, but then now it's just like
Yeah. Imagine when your
undefeated,
fluke
undefeated.
is a fluke didn't make top cut. Do you know what I mean? No, like
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah,
what player,
yeah,
Mad.
yeah. That's some for some people. That's the best they've done.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I saw a picture today of like his trophies. It's like, oh, this guy's really done it. And it's also kind of
yeah.
interesting as well for like, we're really in our infancy.
Mhm.
In a few years' time, they're going to be like, yeah, remember Saxon? He won a
Yeah.
he won a regional, he won a international, he won worlds.
I talked to
Yeah,
him too. I was like, "What's your next goal?" Right? Because you really want. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
back to back worlds would be huge, but what else besides that? And he said, "I might go to the other internationals, right, and start
yeah,
collecting and see how
yeah,
that
yeah,
goes. Right,
yeah,
play in different regions.
yeah.
Obviously,
That's
he
it.
played against a lot of people from different regions at Worlds
Hmm.
last year and this year, but to play in an entire region by yourself from as one of the few foreigners would be really
Yeah.
interesting. And I know there's some TCG guy that collected pretty much every international trophy
Oh my
in
days.
his career over the
You
span
know
of a
this
couple
guy was in the
years.
finals this year, right?
Oh
I,
well,
I
yeah,
think
what's
it's
his name?
Tord
Yeah,
Red
Tord,
Flag.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
won
Dude,
every
wild.
international, never won worlds. Got
Everyone
to the
was got
finals this
second.
year, and he got second. Bro. Like,
Consistency.
I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know anything
tough.
about TCG yet, but I was sad for him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I do know that TCG, if you place high enough in championship points,
mhm,
maybe I don't know about VGC, but for this past year, it might
mhm.
change for this upcoming year. You skip day number one, you go straight to day number two. Like you
Yeah,
straight
they
make
they have
top
that
cut.
in VGC as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
they're
which is
scrappy
a
for
huge
sure.
advantage for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Not to say that Tor didn't earn it because he still had to battle the best to
yeah,
get there, but
for sure.
he like it is a huge advantage, right?
Mhm.
Especially in a potential double elimination bracket
Yeah.
or something.
And I
They
think
do Swiss style. Yeah.
there's always a set amount of people who get that opportunity. I don't know the exact numbers, so it
Mhm.
it wouldn't have been just him on his own who was skipping it.
Yes,
There would
yes,
have been
yes. There's
like
a
other
couple of
people
people.
skipping as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So that's
Rip.
wild too, because you got everyone battling in the first day, and then you gotta face like some of the best people on day two that you didn't even see
Yeah.
yet, right? Because it's just like
Yeah.
it's like the second boss you gotta face,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Uh,
that's a daunting image, but
mm,
and then we gotta definitely give a shout out to El Shay, who
yeah,
from
man.
Chile, 5
My
Pokemon only.
five
I mean, he
Pokemon.
got beat by Roost Master because he didn't have his Umbreon, right? Like, if having an Umbreon would
Yeah.
definitely help that matchup for sure,
Yeah,
right?
definitely,
Umbreon's just good in
definitely.
general, but
Yeah.
5 like, I realized how good he was when he 2-0'd Inadequates.
Yeah.
Cause,
Yeah,
cause
yeah.
I'm like,
Because
"Wait," like,
that
Inadequates was
like
playing really well. That set
bro,
was incredible too.
that second game was like it was the perfect calculation where he was like again,
Mhm.
he was like, well, I'm getting RPS here. My only win con is getting this ice beam onto the Venu.
Yep, mhm.
Perfect undercharge,
Perfect
perfect
undercharge, yeah.
farm down, and then
Yeah.
boom.
That was game number 1, actually. Well, I
Oh,
guess it
okay,
was a
yeah.
rematch of the first one, and the
Right.
second one was, when he, uh, he caught a Blast Burn on his Medicham or something, against Inadequate's Charizard. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. And I was like, "What?" I was like, "A European let someone catch? I thought you were all about the half-second pause," you know? I was like, "There's no way Inadequate lets this catch." But I think he would still would have lost anyway in that situation because, like, he just was behind. Like, I don't think the catch was necessary. Oh, he caught the Blaster on his Glaring Stumpus, I think, because the Medicham was building up to the Psychic.
Right, right, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he caught on the Psychic instead of trying to catch on the Ice Punch. Yeah, the timing
Yeah,
was and the read was crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. It was, yeah, L-Shape played great too. That was a fun
Insane, bro.
one.
Insane.
Yeah, for double elimination too. For those that don't know, he had 5 Pokemon because he misregistered. He admitted on Twitter it was his own fault, but the judges just said, "Hey, you can either play with 5 Pokemon only, or you can take a round 1 loss. Not a game loss, a round 1 loss." So he loses right off the bat. He can't lose to a single opponent in a single set moving forward. So he was like, "You know what? I'll play with 5 Pokemon. Like, that's the easy decision." And he was in that winners bracket for a while too, for a
Yeah, I
long
think
time with
like
5
definitely into
Pokemon.
day two, and
Yeah.
he
Good chunk
probably only dropped
away through day
down.
2. Mhm.
Yeah, he
He
actually
lost to
only dropped
Wadaj,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, lost to Adaj. So yeah, that was what a call, you know.
Yeah.
Mm,
What a story. I mean,
yeah.
definitely that's what I love about Worlds and a lot of these tournaments is that you learn about people that you like never knew
Mhm.
about, right?
Yeah,
Like I didn't really know who else. No, I would say I didn't really know. I did not know who he was at all,
yeah.
right? Like I knew someone got second at Chile, but I remember Ice Chris got first, right, with the Shao Charizard, but it didn't really click in my head who was second.
Mm.
But
Yeah, to be
what
honest,
a
even when we did like we did like a few podcasts like rounding up the competitors from different places,
mhm,
and I think when we got to the LATAM region and we're discussing Elche, um, I think even there it was like said about how he wasn't necessarily one of the big Chilean names because there's a lot of
mhm,
big Chilean names, right?
yeah.
Um, but everyone was so surprised at the kind of run he went on during the regional,
Mhm,
where he was taking out top player after top player, and
yeah.
that really even brought a lot of like the Latin people's attention to
Mm,
his ability. Um, yeah, did a
yeah.
madness.
Yeah, he was the Latin equivalent of your Scafo, the last one
Yeah,
they waited for.
yeah, pretty
He did make
much.
it pretty far though. He was the last region. He was the last player from non-NA region
Yeah.
to last 4th place, which is pretty impressive.
Mm.
Who was the last player of APAC?
I think it was
Was
Chiodo.
it Kyoto? Yeah, Kyoto, right?
Chiodo,
Yeah, because Kyoto
yeah.
had the Battle Luminous, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is his friend too.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was my favorite little, the little picture of them two, like,
yeah, yeah.
shaking
They had a
hands
little
after the
fist bump
match.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I was like,
that
yo,
was
they're gonna
pretty dope.
use that in Worlds videos for years to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Little
no,
promo
that's
videos.
such a cool storyline.
Yeah.
That's like if I got to battle,
Well, I guess it was
like
you and Ramberto, right? Like in San Diego,
I
but
guess so. Yeah,
different stakes,
yeah,
because I guess you
different
both qualified
stakes.
by that point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
fun time for sure.
Mm.
I gotta say too before we finish this Worlds recap, great event overall. Production was
Mm.
great. I don't know if did you like the replay feature?
Yeah. That was amazing.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know.
shout out to Amanda Lumberger actually for running that too. She was the
Yeah.
one picking the replays and doing all the admin stuff, which was really nice.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
debuting a feature like that at Worlds is,
Hmm.
or I don't know,
Yeah.
did they have it at NAIC?
They did, but only
Okay,
for the final day for I think
right.
like losers finals, winners finals, and grand finals. But they didn't have that cut sequence with like the
Right.
transition and everything. They had
Yeah.
like a little like sword sequence with the sound.
Uh-huh.
Like at NAIC, and there's no fault on TPCI, like they were testing a new program and stuff. They just cut straight to the replay.
Right.
And so I remember there's one game where me and Butters were casting the grand finals, and we thought it was like the next game, and then we realized, oh wait, no, this is a replay. I was like, how did this red seal start with half health already, right? And then
Yeah.
we realized midway, but
Uh,
it was very clear what the
mm,
replay was, and hopefully that's something we see more going forward too, or at least at
yeah,
big events,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely really cool. The layout in general was specific just to Worlds, like the background layout, it was like different. It was
Yeah.
like color scheme to like orange, yellow, like very
Honestly,
like
I think it was a lot more
Japan features.
aesthetically nice. There was like
Hmm.
a bit less going on. The like team graphics seemed like, pretty
Hmm.
clear.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, really good job, really good job.
yeah. It was. I was a big fan.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, before we finish this roast recap, I gotta say, I think it was maybe a year ago or so. Um, I can't remember if it was like right after Worlds in London or right before,
mhm.
but one of my friends was saying how like, oh, Axton's definitely one of the best players in the world, right? And I remember me saying, I didn't say this publicly, right? But I remember me saying in the conversation, like, I don't know, like, oh, you know what it was? It was leading up to Salt Lake City, right?
Okay.
I was like, and I said, nah, he just had a good team, right? He was running like the same team, like that Lickitung, like Shadow Nidoqueen
Mm,
core, like whatever, like Swampert, whatever. Like he was running this very strong core in all his tournaments in season one. I was like, I feel like he was carried really hard by his really good team in the meta at the time. And I remember Salt Lake City, right? I remember he got lost to Mormon Matt, who's like a new player from BGC. He got 2-up at Mormon Matt, right? In day one, I think. He made top cut for Salt Lake City, but then lost,
yeah.
somewhere down the road. I think tied for like 7th or 6th or something. And I was like, see? Like it's Axon's not like he's good, but he's not the best, right? He's like he was still running Shadow Nidoqueen, I think after well no, he was running Wall Ring. That's what it was. He was running Wall
Yeah,
Ring after
yeah.
the Wall
After
Ring
the
nerf,
nerf, yeah.
right? And it just wasn't doing it. It's like, see, like the team comp doesn't work as well. He's still running Shadow Nidoqueen too, but like the Shadow Wall Ring just wasn't doing as well as it did before. I was like, see, like he's just not as good, right? And then he went to Arlington. He lost Arrow, I think. He still did well, right? Made top cut
Mm.
again. I was like, he's making top cut for sure. I'm not saying it's not impressive, but he's not doing as well, right? And I think my own personal ego got to me when I was like, man, even I
You've
qualified
already
for
committed to
Axon. I
the
got second place in San Diego. He hasn't even qualified for Worlds yet, right? I only went one and done, right? And he hasn't even got second yet. But then he just kept going on and on. And looking back on it, I'm like, actually, I was wrong. He was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe the Shadow Warrior didn't do him favors, but I don't know if I make top cut running a meta Pokemon that the Pokemon that's no longer meta, right?
yeah, true.
Uh,
He was
and
cooking all season.
yeah, and I mean in factions, so he was like consistently getting 2-1s,
Mm.
right? Like he wasn't really going negative. And I've never beat him in a best of 3 in show 6 either, so I can't say much. So I apologize, Axel. I take everything back. Actually, on top of
I
that, man,
like
I've
you
just been
plan to
constantly.
apologize.
Yeah. Conveniently, after he wins Worlds, I gotta say, I have a history of disrespecting him accidentally too. Me and Butters we're trying to predict who's gonna win NAIC last year, right?
Right.
Going into the final day, and we had top cut already, top 8, and we're just naming people like, and then we couldn't think of the 8th person. Like, I don't know, like I can't even think of the 8th person. And then we both joked on my vlog. I was like, imagine if it's actually the person that wins it. The person we forgot was actually Accent who won it all.
Bruv.
So anyway, I have a track record of
You
being
took
a little
that
disrespectful
personally,
towards
bro.
Accent, whether intentionally or not intentionally, and I apologize, and I would never make that mistake again. He's one of the best, and there's just nothing anyone can say about it. And he doesn't seem like the kind of, like, no hate on Dancing Rob, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's gonna let the foot off the gas pedal. I feel like Dancing
Yeah,
Rob
yeah.
was kind of like, I'm just gonna judge, I'm gonna chill. Right? I already qualified for Worlds, I already got my Worlds invite. I don't even need to compete. And to be fair, I don't think Dancing Rob really went in the mindset of I need to win Worlds again. Right? At least
Mm,
that's what it seemed like to me. Maybe he had that mindset, but it didn't really seem like it.
yeah. I mean,
And I mean, Guido seemed like he did, but
yeah,
Dancing Rob, I don't know.
I
Yeah.
kind of half agree. Like, obviously, again, I don't know, right? But like, we haven't seen him at an event all season, so
Hmm.
you'd want to see them like prove themselves once and be like, yo, I'm still here. Do you know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
even if it's just one tournament, like top cut, you don't have to win the whole thing. Just be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm still here. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But
gotta agree with
we'll see. I mean,
that.
either way, I think Dancing Rob's done a great job all season with the judging
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah, for sure.
even if he decides to just do that instead of compete as much, that's it's totally fine. I mean, like
Mm.
being world champion once is more than most
Yeah,
people in the world can dream of, right? Like, like going
it's
for
true.
back to back, and
Yeah,
then also having his Pokemon distributed.
yeah,
So this is
yeah.
what I was gonna say. I'm optimistic, right? I know I
Mm.
said accessibility is a huge issue with
Yeah.
PP and all this stuff. But I'm optimistic that I think that Niantic is trying to take more of a PvP route, especially of late, right? They
Mm.
had the giveaway codes. I mean, I never even see a wild encounter mana buzz until I did this research, and
Yeah,
I got the
true,
mana
true.
buzz encounter. I don't know if you chose that one, but it was like I think by far was the
I'm not
best.
gonna lie, I didn't. I didn't hang
No,
out.
no.
I didn't hang about on the Twitch stream long enough because I don't like using Twitch. I prefer YouTube, and
Yeah,
I couldn't commit to like
even
half
I
an
did
hour of
it.
playing. Yeah, I don't know
You
how
know
you
what
did
I
it, man.
did?
Like,
I pulled up Twitch muted on my
yeah,
phone while I was casting.
yeah,
Claimed the code while I was casting.
that was funny to
I
play.
just
I
had to
can't
go
lie.
back.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a bit lazy with researches in general. Like even GoFest, I
Mhm.
was like, you can only get the Diancie research from the park, right? And then like some people were like, "Oh yeah, the park's not worth it." I looked how far it was. It was
You didn't even go
hot.
to the
And
park?
I didn't even go to the park, man. I just did my Go Fest in the town.
Uh,
It's fine. Yeah.
gotcha.
So,
Um,
but yeah,
but
this is a really good step in the right direction because also the
yeah,
spawns during Worlds, and I'm assuming these spawns were happening for everyone. They were all
pretty good.
meta relevant stuff,
Mhm. Metacham, Galarian Stunfisk,
Yeah, lanterns.
Lantern. I got my
Wasn't.
first Galarian Stunfisk in Japan, actually.
Oh,
First
really?
ever shiny, first shiny one.
Oh, wow.
Funny enough,
Okay.
I was having a team dinner with my teammates,
Mhm.
the Cool Cats, and I was like, dude, I still don't have Glaring Stunfisk. And then I was saying this earlier, and the Twacel's like, I wish I was vlogging, right? Dude, I never vlogged this one because I got a Shundo too from my teammate Heather, and I
What?
didn't get it. Yeah, it was a Groudon.
Mad.
But he said, "Yo, you should click on that Stunfisk. It might be your first shiny. You need a shiny." It's like, what are the odds of this? He didn't say it the whole night. He literally said this once. I click on it. It was a shiny Stunfisk, my first
Bruh,
ever. Yeah, at
mad.
this taco place. Yeah,
Mad.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But and then I got a Shundo Groudon at the venue when I was lucky trading with Coachino Mom. So
insane.
it was wild. I have a race with Amanda Lumberger on who could get the 3 Shundos first, Shundo legendaries,
Mhm.
and she was at 2. I was at 2. And I was like,
And you got it.
race is over, Amanda. Dude, literally like a day or 2 after Worlds, she got her Shundo.
I swear.
She got her 3rd one too. Yeah.
Uh,
So she's actually like only a step behind, which is the odds of that is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so you're right. So a lot of the spawns were PvP relevant,
Mm.
and giving away Dancing Robs. It wasn't actually his Glaring Stunfisk unless his IVs
Yeah.
are that bad. Like there's some raid IVs, but giving away a Glaring Stunfisk is still something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Did it have any sort of like
and
location thing on the bottom or anything like that? Or was it just wherever you caught it?
I think it's. Wait, let me check. I think it might say like caught from like the Dancing Rob research.
That'd be
I'll pull
cool.
up my game real quick.
Because
Yeah, I think
otherwise
it
it
is.
is just a glaring
Oh
stuff.
wait,
Well, you deleted
I
it.
probably I probably transferred it. Yeah. I you know what? I'm not even gonna look because I already know I transferred it. So I don't know. But anyone that caught Dancing Rob's Glaring Stunfisk, see what it says. I think it should say like Dancing Rob, like
Yeah,
research or World Champion research or something.
that was cool. You
Yeah.
ever had
Sorry, Rob.
it?
Yeah, I don't need Glaring Stunfisk anymore.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was pretty dope, and I'm hoping that we get more events like this in the future for
yeah,
World Championships too.
agreed.
So we'll see how it goes. I mean, you talked a little about GoFest, so let's transition to that. But what did you think about GoFest? You only did Osaka, right? Because you can't do
Yeah,
London. Obviously, you
yeah,
weren't in New
yeah,
York. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, honestly, I thought it was amazing. I mean, when I say I thought it was amazing, I have never been able to whale before. Yeah, there's so many
Uh-huh.
times where I was just like, this is the time. Yeah, I'm gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
whale, and I get 5 raids in, and I'm like,
Can't do it.
another time, yeah, yeah. And I really tried as well, like recently when I was in Australia, and I was trying to like find people to do it with. But I was thinking, I was just like, well, it seems again, particularly with the raid pass nerf, the remote raid pass nerf, sorry. It's like difficult because it's like, okay, well, especially if it's a returning legendary, when am I really going to be able to collect people to raid a legendary? What is it, like 30 times roughly that you have to do it? You're going to
Mm-hmm.
get like maybe 8 done on raid hour. And then, even if you do maybe some on the week, like 30 times is quite a lot again for like,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a returning legendary, I don't think the interest is that high. But bro,
Right.
raiding in Japan is wild. It is wild.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even I could raid on my own. I jump into a lobby and then all of a sudden there's 20 people in there. It's like
Right.
it is
And the
insane.
countdown is really cool because it goes straight down to like 10 seconds,
Yeah,
right?
that
So
was a
that
bit
was
hard to keep
nice.
up with. I can't lie. Like I
Tried to
sent in
revive
like
my
meme teams
Pokemon.
by accident. Yeah, loads of times. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought that was brilliant to be honest.
Yeah.
And then the research, like I didn't realize until maybe halfway through the one of the days that certain research was guaranteed carb ink.
Mm-hmm.
But once I did realize that, got like a decent amount of carb inks, a lot of spawns. You could argue it was like a lot to do, but I
Mm-hmm.
think in comparison to some events, like I think it was one of the tours, so maybe not the Hoenn tour, but like the Johto tour or something, where people were like, "Oh, this is too much to do in like the space of a couple of days." It wasn't nearly as much to do as that, so you really
Mm-hmm.
could enjoy every single part. And I think also if you were actually in the park, then the habitats rotated, so it didn't feel
Yeah.
as intense. But I thought it was good.
Yeah. I was so jealous when I got to Osaka because I didn't get a chance to play for much of it. So, but luckily I got to play New York Go Fest, which the spawns are very similar,
Yeah,
for the most part. They
were they
had
not the
Tyrant
same?
instead of Mora. They
Okay.
had Tyrant instead of a Mora. They had Kangaskhan instead of something, whatever the region, was at.
Sigilif, yeah.
No, we had Sigilift too.
You had Sigilift as well?
So,
Oh,
yeah, so it
well,
was
it
some
doesn't
other
matter then. Yeah,
regional.
probably
Was it
irrelevant.
Buffalon
Yeah.
maybe? I don't know.
No, there definitely wasn't Buffalo.
Maybe it was Mr. Oh, they had Galarian Mime at Osaka.
Yeah,
We didn't have that at New York. It was
that's been
Kangaskhan's had
everywhere
that.
though. So like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
has
I
been,
think
yeah.
yeah,
Kangaskhan I was down for because I got a hundo from a lucky hundo from my teammate
ooh,
DFH, actually. We lucky traded,
nice.
yeah. Yeah. First time meeting him too. Yeah, it was nice to meet him,
Yeah,
but I got a hundo Kangaskhan. Yeah, my hundo luck was pretty good.
that's
Um,
kind of mad.
but yeah, no, I was definitely wailing too in New York City. I have over 700 XL candies for Xerneas. I can make 2 Xerneas, and I don't have a
Yo.
hundo. I'm like struggling. I feel like I'm a
Yeah.
true whale now, having all the resources in the world, but not having the Pokemon to power
Yeah,
up.
these world problems. And then on top of that as well, yeah, we were talking about charge move drought. Yeah, charge TM drought.
Mhm.
Bro, I'm nearing 100 charge TMs now, which
Yo,
is like good and bad because it's good because obviously I got charge TMs. It's bad
yeah,
because it shouldn't really be necessary to raid for charge TMs,
yeah.
obviously.
Well, you're about to lose all that too comes September 1st once we get these
Yeah,
new
yeah,
updates.
that's true. That's true.
We don't
Yeah,
know what the
yeah.
updates are, but there might be some stuff coming, so
Yeah.
we'll see. We also have Global Go Fest coming up this weekend too,
Yeah.
so we could cover that real quick in terms of what there is. But yeah, it's it's going to be a lot. Honestly, if you don't have enough stuff right now, we're gonna see some stuff. So
Yeah.
some general things because we have some new shiny debuts. So Mega Deontay makes his debut, obviously. So that'll be. I mean, we both already have ours. You don't get a second one,
I
unfortunately,
don't
because
have
I play New York City and I didn't get a second one.
mine.
But yeah, they have Pikachu wearing a crown is here, just
Little.
like GoFest.
Yeah.
I did not get a shiny version of that, so I'm
I
still
was
looking
I
for
was
that.
shiny checking those. I can't lie. This is good
You didn't
trade
get
bait.
one?
Good trade bait. No, no, not so.
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great trade bait. Yeah, a bunch of there's Lickitung, which is pretty meta relevant, Heracross,
Mhm.
which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't have Heracross in New York City either. They
Okay,
had
so I
Heracross
think
in
that's a
Japan.
big difference. Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah,
they're
that's a
there
big
across there.
difference. Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah.
mime, like whatever. But the Heracross, yeah, I got a couple shiny Heracross at
That
Japan, which is
particular
nice.
habitat, by the way, I think is interesting. I think it's that habitat. Is it the one with like Ordino and
Yeah,
yeah.
quartz terrarium, wherever.
So
Yeah.
apparently, they like last night said that there was going to be like an ultra unlock bonus. And the
Yeah.
ultra unlock bonus is 4 times catch Stardust. So,
Yeah.
bruv,
Yeah.
imagine that hour. Yeah,
Dude.
you're gonna be
Let me
swimming.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. We'll get
dusty
into that because
rise.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is gonna be some nice stuff. Yeah, outside that they have Aldino, Fungus, which is great, Dust, Morlo, which is
Mm-hmm.
also more dust too. So you got Morlo, Fungus, Aldino, all boosted dust, which is kind of nuts. And then in the second habitat is Pyrite, Sands. I'm trying to see what's meta relevant. I mean, you got Gibble, but everyone has a lot of people have Gibble already. You
Yeah.
got Sandshrew if you need XL candies, I guess, or Sandslash.
Mm.
Timber. Timber's nice. I actually do
That's
need
cool. Yeah.
Timber. Yeah,
Also,
they have
like
shiny.
Great League Timber. I don't know if Timber has spawned yet, but like Great League
This
possible
is the first
Conqueror.
time Timber spawned at an event, to my knowledge. Yeah,
Okay, so
so pretty good. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Conquistadors.
I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, it probably won't see use, but like, it's
yeah,
nice to
yeah.
have that unlocked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I hate that second stage evolution. Like Timber evolves into what's that other thing?
Girder, I think it's called.
Girder, it
Yeah,
looks so weird. It looks like it's
yeah,
like it
it's
looks
got
like
that
Mojo
bird.
Jojo from like Powderpuff Girls. Like the brain, it looks like a brain or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's awkward looking. Conqueror's cool though. Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
a good one. I do need to make that for XL for Master
Mm,
League. Joltik, Shining Joltik is new debut.
cool, cool.
Um, that's about it. I mean, I guess grub it if you want XLs for that for Charger Bug or whatever
Yeah.
for the XL, but
Yeah, I don't know if it's
it's
that
not that
good.
meta
Yeah.
relevant. Yeah, I mean, you're mostly looking for Joltik and Timber, but that's pretty
Mm,
good. And then for the third habitat is Malachite Wild Wilderness, I think that's how you pronounce it. Snorlax wearing a cowboy hat
phew.
is making a day is returning. Yo, I'm so glad I traded a Snorlax with a cowboy hat for like a Buzzwole this past weekend. So
Hey,
yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, yeah,
that's a
it's
come
also
up.
shiny, of course, right? Yes,
Yeah.
that was a good trade. It wasn't shiny either. It's just yeah. I just traded a shiny cowboy hat Snorlax for my first shiny Xerneas too for a lucky trade. So it was before I got
That's
I
not bad.
have
That's not
Xerneas,
bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's coming back. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate shout out to Dave Dang for giving to me at least. Our Ranguru has a shiny debut, which is
Yeah.
pretty nice. And then you got Unova Stunfisk, which is good for XLs, I guess. There's a
Mm,
bunch of grass stuff, but yeah, you're probably mostly targeting the Snorlax and the Ranguru here. And then obviously Pikachu with Crown spawning all of these. And then in the Aquamarine Shores, you got Lapras, which is pretty good.
nice.
Marrow if you still need a Azumarill. I mean, good stuff for PP. Wobbuffet if you still need XLs for those. Um, Beldum again if you need XLs. And then Shiny Gumi's making a debut. I think that's the only
That's cool.
shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got Marini as well, which is good for Toxapex
Mm,
if you need that still. And then the raids, obviously, the raids. I think outside the Pikachu, it's just. Oh wait, hold up. Oh, dude, actually no, I'm mistaken.
what?
So the Pikachu crowns, they're different crowns. So the crowns we have from GoFest, I don't know what kind of crowns they are, but in Quartz Terrarium, it's a quartz wearing crown for Pikachu. For the
Wait,
Pyrite Sand, it's a Pyrite crown.
I think
So
this
they're
was the
different crowns.
same as Go
Yeah.
Fest.
Oh, were they different crowns? I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I think it
For New
was.
York and Osaka, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, like
I
every
don't know
time
which
the
one's which.
habitat
Yeah.
changed. Yeah, I think it's super hard to like actually know, right? Because it's
See.
so tiny.
Yeah. But you
But
can
I
see
think
the
that's
color
pretty
difference
insane.
between these. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure the New York City and Osaka ones are just a standard crown one. I think these
No,
are
no, I think it
specific
was
crowns.
definitely different.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
remember
I did not
recalling
realize
that,
that
and
because
then I'm like,
people
maybe someone
people
can
definitely weren't talking about the crowns.
correct
All
me.
the crowns I saw, I think, with the quartz one or some standard one. I don't know.
Oh.
Hey, if you're wrong about this, Anacor, everyone gonna roast you in the comments on this episode.
Yeah.
Let Anacor know that I'm
Hey,
right and he's wrong.
I'm committing to this, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
now
yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah,
made
yeah.
it a thing.
Yeah, you gotta double down, I guess. This is how Speedy
Yeah,
starts losing bets.
yeah, yeah.
Once you start
I
making a
ain't
bet
gonna
on
be.
this, that this
Hey,
is where it goes
Speediest Chief
downhill.
3 by name only, not
Yeah, next thing you know, you're gonna be munching
not
on
by
a hot
bet
chip, or
listing.
you're gonna be disappearing from the podcast too. I'm gonna have to find Speedy 4. But anyway, so they have all the 4 different crowns of Pichu spawning in the 1-star raid plus Gumi. 2-star raid is just Carbink, which I personally don't think it's worth rating Carbink because you get plenty of Carbink from the research task and the
Yeah, I
incense.
agree.
But
I agree with
that's
that.
just me.
Yeah,
Of course, if you really need it, Cowboy had Snorlax's 3-star raid, and we got primal raids
yeah,
for the big one, which is Primal Kyogre and Groudon, which I need a few more XLs of both to finish out my hundos, so that'll be
yeah.
good. But yeah, good to see those back. And then so that's all of Saturday. And then Sunday we have Rayquaza coming through, making his global debut. Obviously, if you have one, great. But if not, this is a great place to do it. Get Mega Engine stuff. And then all Pokemon that appear in the wild during the first day event will also appear during event hours on the second day. There's no rotating habits though, so it's just all stuff comes out, which is kind of cool. And then same thing with the raids. Yeah. The raids are the same except in addition to primal raids, you get the Mega Rayquaza raids. And then here's the thing. This is the cool part. Bonuses and features that you could get. So obviously Lord modules will last 1 hour, 2 times friendship bonus for raids, field research themed around different habitats, etc. There will be no limit on remote raids between Saturday and Sunday, which like that could have been the T segment. It's not, but it could have been because
Yeah.
I saw some people like saying I tweet this out because yes, they removed the limit, but the prices of
Yeah.
remote rates are still jacked up to what they've been
Yeah.
recently.
I mean, they do still have an opportunity to release a box for that
Yeah,
weekend. That's like, maybe old prices. So there's like the opportunity to make this not just seem like
yeah, a
a
money
money
grab.
sort of thing. Yeah, yeah. So they still have an opportunity. They still have a few days to release that box.
Yeah,
But if they don't, then yeah, man, it's
yeah, not the
no
best.
amazing. Yeah,
Um, and then take snapshots during the event. You never know who might show up. Probably is going to be Rotom like last time,
yeah,
like the Go Fest, but I don't know. I got a rank
that's
11
cool.
Great League Rotom actually
Jeez,
from this
nice.
last thing. Yeah, it's going to be useful for nothing, but
Yeah,
it's
man.
good. Good
Let's see
flex nonetheless.
that.
They had some feature attacks. This is actually kind of cool. So I guess these are legacy stuff, but
Hmm.
Evolve Metapod into Butterfree, you get Fast Move Bug Bite, which I didn't even realize is Legacy, but I guess that's Legacy for Butterfree. Sand Slash will learn Night Slash, which was a community move, but that's just Candle Sand Slash, of course. Clefable will learn the Fast Attack Pound, which, again, Legacy move that has not
Interesting.
a lot of
Yeah.
relevance, but hey, maybe just evolve some. Flygout's going to learn Earth Power, was a community move, of course. Salamence, Outrage, community move. Metagross gets Meteor Mash. Oh, this is a
Mm.
heartbreaker. Someone evolved Metagross at New York City Go Fest. I was in the coaching area, so they were asking for advice, and they're asking like, why does this not Meteor Mash? I could have sworn that you're supposed to get it, and I was like, not that I'm aware of. And then the person Googled it, and they realized, oh no, it's not until next week.
Oh, mate, that's
Yeah,
so
hopefully it
annoying.
wasn't a hundo, but it might have
Yeah.
been. And then Roserade learns Fire type, Fast Attack, Bullet Seed, and Fire type Charge Attack, Weather Ball, which is pretty nice.
That's
Double
nice. Yeah.
community day move throwback. Oh, and this is a big one. Lickitung learns Body Slam.
Ooh.
Oh, dude,
I
I think
forgot
I'm
that that was
Legacy. Yeah, it's Legacy for
yeah, yeah.
Lickitung and Licky.
Yeah.
But
That's
I have a rank 1 Ultra League Licky. I
uh,
can't remember if I evolved it or not. I hope I didn't. I think I did. Let me check real quick. I need to know now because this is gonna be a heartbreaker if I did. But
bro,
because
was
I wasn't expecting this event to come out. I just didn't evolve it, so I was just
yeah.
like slowly powering it up because it's
But
not that
also
relevant.
some of the options seem a bit strange. Wait, also it looks like
Yeah,
is it
like the
Lickitung
Clefable.
that's gonna get body slam?
Oh, clutch! It's
Wait,
not
you got
evolved
it.
yet. It's not evolved. Yeah, it's still Lickitung.
Jeez.
It's still Lickitung. All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah, I just gotta remember evolve. Sorry, what were we gonna say?
Is it just Licky or is Lickitung also gonna get? Oh, well, I guess
Just
Lickitung can't get
Licky.
body
Yeah,
slam,
because you have to
right?
evolve.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
That would
how
have
you
been
got
nice.
body slam on back in the day was you had to do a Lickitung raid to get it, I think.
Right. I see.
But they
Yeah.
haven't had Lickitung exclusive raids. That was, dude,
Yeah.
that was back in 2019, I think.
Wow.
Because I remember, yeah, I was yeah, because I remember I was dating someone back in Washington D.C. and I was
Mm.
visiting her for a time. So I was like, "Hey, I gotta do this like raid hour thing." So she's like, "All right, I'll just go do my nails or get my hair done or something." So I was like walking around Washington D.C. meeting these locals there and like doing these raids. I added some of them as friends actually since then because I think we re-rolled like Cresselia or something. But it's funny, yeah. That's how I know exactly when that research day was because that's when I visited her. Good times. Anyway, there's field research bonanza, and this on Saturday, each research tasks from Pokestops each hour from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. will be like refreshed. So you'll be new
Right.
research.
Oh,
That's
nice.
big for carbing. That's
Yeah.
huge for carbing because that means that you could
You
get
just won't
new
use them all
carbing
up.
like every
Yeah.
hour. Yeah.
Amazing.
And I don't know specifically what the research will be for the Global Go Fest, but I remember for at least for Osaka and New York City, I think it was spin 10 Pokestops,
Yeah.
earn 1 candy walking your buddy, and maybe something else. Maybe it was catch 10 Pokemon, I think, were
I
the
think so.
carping
Yeah.
tasks.
Yeah.
So those are the ones you want to look out for. Yeah. I think send gifts wasn't a carving task, and I don't know. I think they're all carving tasks, so there's a chance for carving on the 3 I
But those
mentioned.
were like the confirmed ones.
Yeah, those are the ones you want to look out for.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't think it's really worth rating the carving, but if you really need the XLs or the carving, maybe go for it.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have a lot of Pokestops. And then yeah, the raid battle things, like I said, it goes down in 10 seconds if lobbies fill up to 20, like we saw in Osaka and New York City
So this is
last
going
time
to be
we ended.
worldwide now.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And there should be a ready button as well too.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be launching everywhere, which is kind of cool. And then new avatar items, stuff like that, event stickers, and then yeah. So a lot of these ticket exclusive. So if you have tickets, so this is not even stuff for ticket holders. If you have the tickets, you get special research for the Deontay, and you get the special research for Mega Rayquaza to get meteorites, which you need to evolve
Yeah.
the Mega Rayquaza. And then global challenge. So this is the bonuses. This is a bonus he's talking about. So if you had the ticket, this is really worth buying the ticket in my opinion. If you get for incense encounters for Quartz Terrarium, you get ADIM N and O for the unknown. You can get shiny for all these, and then Hisuian Growlithe as a wild spawn,
That's cool. That's cool.
which I actually don't have a Hisuian Growlithe, so that'll be my first one.
Yeah. Well, I think all the all the egg ones are too high for Great League as well.
Yeah, yeah,
For the
that's
16 and
true.
Arcanine, so
Yeah,
that's kind of
unless you
nice.
do the butter strat where his girlfriend starts
Yeah,
playing the game and he
yeah.
gets some
Yeah,
hatches. Technically, it
the
was
butter
TOS, but
strap.
it was, yeah, his girlfriend never played the game since. Now his wife. And then you get the same. I think you get pretty much the same unknown for Pyrite Sands, but you get Pawniard as a wild spawn, which again could be pretty good for a Great
Yeah.
League B Sharp if you want to get that.
Mm.
And then Malachite Wilderness, same unknowns, except you get Carnivine. Carnivine's not even shiny though. Man, I'm just gonna Carnivine's gonna be useless after this one. I had Carnivine saved from
I was gonna
Atlanta,
say,
Georgia,
yeah,
but yeah,
like
that
that would have been
resource
good
put me
trade
out
bait.
the
So now
crapshoot.
it's yeah,
Yo, this is a huge one though. This is massive. Aquamarine Shores. If you have an incense going on for this, obviously same unknown. You get Pachirisu as
bruv,
a spawn. That's
bruv.
huge. That's massive.
Do you know,
Everyone
like,
goes stock up on
there has
Pachirisu.
been
You
times,
need
yeah,
a
when I
hundo.
was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I was like, maybe I can go to a Pachirisu location. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, surely that should, and then you look at where it is, and it's like, I don't know, like Siberia or something, and then like the
So
really
far
cold
up.
parts of Canada, and I'm like, bro,
Yeah. It's yeah, like usually we'll go Toronto, Canada or Vancouver, Canada. It's not spawning there. You have to go
yeah,
really far
you have
north.
to go to
Yeah.
the parts that nobody wants to go to, man. Like,
Yeah, that's where Dial Up Turf is actually.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
we can
Dial
go
Up
to
lives
them,
there.
I
He
guess.
showed up to
Yeah.
regional with 100 Pachirisu because this is his local spawn. Man living out in the
Man,
woods.
yeah, that is big. That is huge, you know. And
That's
especially
huge.
because
So
you like ideally want it lucky because obviously you need to get that like
yeah,
hundo level
yeah,
51.
yeah. But there's a
So
chance you
yeah.
might get a hundo from incense. I mean, it's
Yeah,
hard to say,
yeah, yeah.
right?
But as in like,
But just get
because
him.
it has to go to like level 51,
Yeah,
like same with
exactly.
dust and stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, this is amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
exactly. So definitely that in itself is worth the thing. But you
Yeah.
get some exclusive bonuses, increased chance of encountering shiny Pokemon, up to 6 special trades can be made each day, and then you could level up your oh yeah, there's elite collector badges stuff. You get up to 9 free raid passes from spinning photo gyms. So hey, we can continue whaling, I guess.
Yeah.
And then
Master League specialist coming soon.
yeah, special kilometer eggs. I don't know about the 7 kilometer eggs. I don't think they're that great for the rest of the other Go Fest stuff, but
Yeah, I can't really
that
remember
was
what they
something.
were. But
Yeah. And then, we're talking about this, but you were talking about the special bonus unlocks, right? So we're talking about
mm,
so that I think is actually coming at a later time if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. It was yeah, so the Ultra Unlock. So Saturday, let's see. Where is it? They're talking about the rotations, the raid. Okay, so this is a thing.
mhm.
Ultra Unlock um during each habitat hour on Saturday, ticket holders around the world will be able to work together to complete a global challenge. If complete time, a special bonus will be unlocked for the remainder of the hour the for the trainers. Blah blah blah. Man, this thing's really weird because it's not like really updated, or it's a bunch of question marks on purpose, I guess. It's literally just a bunch of question
Yeah,
marks on this page, which is weird. I think it is intentional, but it's like a 3 question marks adventure. It will a special to be announced event will take place from Tuesday, September 5th to Sunday, September 10th, regardless of the number of challenges trainers are able to complete. This is
okay.
wild. There's a bunch of question marks on here. Ultra
Yeah.
Unlock A, you get I'm just like it's Ultra Unlock raids, 1-star raids, it's just 5 question marks, like 5 question mark Pokemon. I have no idea what this is. And then the time research, if you're like it's like kind of troll, but it's kind of funny at the same time. Time research encounter a bunch of question marks. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to encounter a shiny question mark thing, right? I don't know what
Hey,
it is.
that's what I'm looking
Either
forward
way,
to.
but this is where the dust comes in. Okay, so what's it
Mm.
actually during the actual GoFest event?
Uh,
Although that first hour is still pretty nice because they have
yeah.
Audino, Morlo, and Fungus. But from September 5th to September 10th, that 5 days, Ultra Unlock bonus, 4 times catch XP, four
Wow.
times catch Stardust. Yo,
Wow.
that is
Bro.
bonkers.
For
That is gonna
five
be
days.
wild. 5 days. And
And on top of that,
actually,
I think there's like a community day classic during, is it during that span?
you know what else is going on during that time? That first
Well, what's,
regional for
oh,
Play Pokemon in Pittsburgh.
wait,
They
but
might
does
it
it
might
stack?
it might it didn't stack at Worlds.
It didn't
That was
stack
the
at
first time
Worlds.
it didn't
I was
stack.
like,
The
is
first
that
time,
the
yeah, we
first
had
time it
triple
didn't stack?
Stardust at Froki Community Day,
Uh,
and it didn't stack. The dust didn't stack at Worlds, and I don't know if it's gonna not. I really
bro,
hope
that'd be
it.
so OP. How much is that?
I
Like
know it'd be 8 times
8
dust,
times.
and then plus the star piece would be 12 times dust. I think, right?
Insane.
Is my math correct?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds
Anyway,
like, yeah.
12 times dust. Yeah, I don't think
Wow.
so. But I'm just scared that the 2 times dust at the venue will override the 4 times dust. Hopefully not. Hopefully just 4 times
Yeah,
dust. I'll just
surely.
take staying at 4 times dust at the venue. That'd be nice too. But
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Ultra Unlock. It plays complete total of whatever things from September 10th to the 15th. Certain Pokemon debuts will be happening. It's like a bug
Ooh,
Pokemon, electric Pokemon, a flying Pokemon, an ice Pokemon. They just say
bug.
stay
Okay.
tuned for more details. I don't know what these Pokemon will be. What do you think?
I'm trying to think. I have no idea, you know. Okay, wait.
Uh,
So they said that the Paldea Pokemon were coming soon, right?
yeah,
I don't know if they
but
meant
none
the
of them are
starters
these
because I didn't
typings
watch the video.
though.
But yeah, it's
Y-
true.
y-
I don't know if there's even anything like Mind or I don't know what that
I
could
don't
be.
know. These typings are kind of sus too.
Uh,
Yeah, I think you're right though. It's something to do with the Paldean Pokemon.
hmm.
There's like Bombirdier or whatever. It's like flying Pokemon thing. I don't know. I
No,
don't
I
know.
hope so. Hopefully
Hopefully.
something.
Wait, what about the Ultra Beasts? Are there any Ultra Beasts with these typings?
There are, but I think
Bug,
like the
electric,
electric one's already out because that's circuitry.
circuitry. Yeah,
So I think there's like Naganadel that's missing, which is like Poison Dragon, Blacephalon, which is Fire Ghost, I think. I
yeah.
think I
And
feel
then
like they all have
these.
like dual typing, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, I don't know.
yeah.
That's
But
weird. Let us know your predictions down below. We'll
yeah,
find out after GoFest. But yeah. So anyway, from the 5th though to the 10th, that's going to be the big one. If you need Stardust, yo, credit where credit's due, right? I was saying accessibility is an issue for Pokemon Go, but Niantic really bring in some things for accessibility.
yeah,
Pachirisu being a wild spawn, right? That's huge as
yeah.
well. Like from Incense, like all these things. So honestly, the GoFest ticket, Global GoFest ticket, is worth buying in my opinion. I get no commission off of this. Niantic ain't paying me nothing for this. I'm just saying this out of the goodness of my heart. I'm looking out for our fellow listeners. So
There's the first sponsors, Niantic. 3 weeks down the line.
yeah, yeah, right. Um, but anyway, it's gonna be a pretty exciting couple of yeah couple events that we have after
Yeah,
this. Speaking of Pittsburgh, we have our new season of Play Pokemon schedule coming
we
out,
do.
and it's actually funny. I remember one of our producers actually saying they prefer us not to say Play Pokemon on the streams, on the official streams. They
Uh-huh.
actually rather we say Go Championship Series or Championship Series.
Okay.
So that's like kind of but like, but then they use like hashtag Play Pokemon, right? For
Yeah.
like
Well, I mean, do they do it,
for
or
us
is
to
it just us that does that?
well, they ask for to get on the official streams. They want you to use hashtag Play
Yeah, yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah. True.
Outside
So
the worlds, worlds was Pokemon Worlds or
yeah,
something, 2023 or something. But or just Pokemon Worlds. But for the regular stuff, they want us to use hashtag Play Pokemon. So I don't know. I'm getting like conflicting messages, but
yeah,
anyway, I try to say Go Championship Series on the official broadcast. So if anyone's ever curious why I say that instead of Play Pokemon, that's why. But anyway, for those that don't know, I mean, it even says Pokemon.com/US/Play Pokemon. So on the website. Anyway, we have a bunch of stuff scheduled coming out. The first one is going to be Pittsburgh from the 8th to the 10th
hmm,
in Pennsylvania. And this is going to be the first one after the potential GBL update, September
yeah,
1st.
yeah,
First
yeah.
tournament, first new meta, first tournament season 3. Like, that's going to be wild. There's no,
There's
also, one
love
of the
that.
best parts this season is there's no overlapping events,
That's
I
great, to be
think.
honest.
Yeah. So you
At
don't have to
least at the
watch,
beginning,
like,
at least. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, at least in the beginning. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So you don't have to, like, try to keep track of all these different things.
yeah.
Um, so that's gonna be pretty big. Yeah. So
That's also
September 8th.
because I
Yeah.
think we've never, or like you've never discussed the CP changes because
Hmm.
that's happened over the last 3 weeks. So not only is it the first tournament in the new meta, but first tournament with the new CP format as well. So
Yeah.
that'll be quite interesting to see how it goes. And then also, I guess, with the qualification format as well, where only number one gets to auto qualify. So the final
Yeah,
matchup is
in the
still going to
travel award.
be, yeah, like a final matchup, because nobody's qualified by that point. So the winner
No one's
really
qualified.
is going to be, yeah,
Yeah.
the one going through. So
I
I can
as someone
understand.
that came second place twice and qualified through Worlds that way, I still like the change. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
There are some caveats. So for those that don't know, championship points are what VGC and TCG use, and Unite to a degree actually, but their system's a little bit different.
Mhm.
But you essentially you earn championship points, a certain amount of points based on your placement. The higher up you get, the place, the more you get. And obviously, I think the bigger the tournament, you also get more championship points. I
Yeah,
think
yeah. Or
so that
at
helps
least
too.
it trickles down more.
Trickles
So
down, trickle
yeah,
downs more.
if you
Yeah.
come like 64th in a really large tournament, you'll get some points compared to
Yeah,
like 64th in a smaller tournament, something like that.
more reason for more people to go, right? Because it
Yeah,
helps everyone. More players
yeah.
going, more championship points being distributed, right? If you go to small tournaments, there's less to go around. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like Sylph back in the day, actually, for Sylph regionals. Like if you had more players going, more people qualify for continentals.
Mm, yeah.
So it's kind of like that. So yeah, like Anacor said, only the first place player auto qualifies now, and,
Mhm.
and everyone else gets championship points. So that's cool in a couple regards because one, now in the grand finals, it's not like both players qualified, so like
Exactly.
they're just playing for
Yeah.
the travel award. We try to hype them up, but like there's less to play on the line, right? Both players are pretty satisfied, right? Like I
Uh,
remember I was in San Diego, I was like, I don't really care if I win or lose. Like
yeah.
I'm still going to try to win, but like I'm happy for Roberto either way because he's going to win, and we're both going to qualify for worlds, right? Stuff
Yeah.
like that. But that's no longer going to be a thing. And this is actually across the board for VGC and TCG, which is cool too. Because for some of them,
Yeah.
TCG players they'll win like two back-to-back 1,000 person tournaments and still not like qualify for Worlds, which is
Which is
mad to
insane.
me. Yeah. But so now there's that. But the caveat is if you win first, all right, let's say we're playing in the grand finals, right?
Mhm.
I rate one first already, and then I went first again playing against you, right? My invite doesn't trickle down anymore. So it stays there. So if you got second, you got second. You need to win first to win that auto qualification. You still get a good chunk of championship points, but it doesn't
Yeah.
trickle down anymore. So the invite doesn't pass down anymore. So there's
I'm
a
really
little
on
bit
the
more to
fence
play.
with that particular. Like, I don't know how I
I
feel
like
about
it.
no trickle down.
I
I
like it.
think it's cool, but then I think it's
Gotta
also
earn it.
like I'm like, is it necessary though? It's
It
one
gets people
trickle
going to
down.
more tournaments. Yeah, because then
Yeah,
you
it's
can't.
true.
Yeah, you still got to qualify on
Yeah,
championship points. I don't
yeah,
know. I personally like it because I think there's more to play for. Because now let's say you're
yeah.
playing someone
That's
that already
true. That's
qualified
true.
for
Yeah,
Worlds. You're like, I'm chilling even if I get second, right?
yeah. You got to beat the best in it to be the best. So that's fair. That's fair.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So I think that's my thought personally. Now, championship points has some upsides. You could go to local tournaments, which more
Mhm.
are being hosted around the world now that can add to your championship points. I think there's already been some
Well, the thing
since it
is
was announced.
as of this point, so there's two things that they still haven't announced. They haven't announced the championship point requirements to actually
Hmm.
qualify for Worlds, so we
Yeah.
still don't know that yet. We're like a week away from the start of the season, but there's also locals giving you championships points is still only in North America.
Hmm.
And again, I'm hoping that's something that they're about to announce over the next week, being like, okay, locals, across the globe can now give you championship points. But if it is just North America, it's a bit of a disappointing sort of thing. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
By
yeah, I mean,
region, yeah, like for VGC and TCG, by
mhm,
region, you need more championship points in some regions. So like NA
yeah,
needs more championship
that's
points
true.
because there's so many more tournaments and there's like so many more
Hmm.
local tournaments and all this stuff, right? So that will probably be the same for Pokemon Go. So you'd be like,
Yeah.
is that a way to balance it out? But the thing is, and this is where like the downside championship points come in that TBCI and the Pokemon Company needs to figure out
Hmm.
is for regions that don't have a lot of tournaments in general, the championship points I think is hurting them. So they need to host more tournaments. For I'll give you an
Yeah.
example, like Mexico, right? So like
Yeah.
well also Mexico's actually gonna be an interesting one if they count as LATAM or NA region. Because their
That's
losers at NA,
true.
they're really getting shafted because they had to
Yeah.
hit a higher amount of championship points while having less tournaments in their country, right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
for at least for the past two seasons for Pokemon Go, there's been a Mexico qualifier, it's like a special event
Hmm.
qualifier, and that's it for Mexico, all of Mexico. Yeah, they could go to Brazil or some other Latin countries, or go to some like tournaments in North America, in US or Canada, but
Mhm.
it's kind of a lot of travel for either direction.
Yeah.
And you need a passport and all that stuff. So for their own country, they had only one tournament each year, and it was a Mexico City qualifier. And the problem is, like, it's great that they have that. They only get two people qualify from that, right?
Yeah.
And like last year, Marshall qualified, so he's not even from Mexico, and he qualified, right? So,
Mhm.
so your chances of getting qualifying from your own country is not that great because people from other like Latin countries might even go to that
Mhm.
tournament. No hand on Marshall or anything. I'm glad that he qualified, but it just cuts down your chances. And this year they capped at 256, right? It was like
Yeah.
it was technically the biggest North America tournament because Mexico was
Yeah.
technically North America, right? But it was that qualifier. So clearly there's a lot of interest, but they only have one tournament and two
Mhm.
people qualify from it. But
Yeah.
if you do championship points, only 1% guaranteed qualifies. Now, second place qualifier and Mexico qualifiers gets championship points. But what's that going to do if that's the
Yeah,
only tournament you go
exactly.
to, right? It's like you
It's
can't
so
qualify off of
useless.
the second,
Yeah.
right? So you lose a qualifying spot off of that if there
Yeah.
aren't more tournaments or there aren't locals in
Mhm.
Mexico and other regions. So
Yeah.
like again, like NA has so many privileges, right? EU to a degree, but especially NA, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that TPCI needs to figure out too. And I don't know, maybe they're already working on that. I mean, they do this for a living, so I'm sure they're thinking about this too, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it couldn't have slipped their mind, but how they figure out the roundabout, like the way around it, is going to be important.
Mhm.
NA players are so lucky because you literally have the whole year schedule, right? I already know
Yeah.
the last tournament of the season, which is going to be in LA, right? I already know how to plan my stuff out. Like if you look at the Latin schedule, there's one tournament in Brazil and that's it. Other stuff will be
Yeah.
added later. Oceania has 0. EU has 5 regular ones plus 2
Like two
special
special
events.
events. Yeah.
But that still seems kind of on the lower end.
Yeah, I
But
think it's like
there's just
they
less
get
regionals in
less
general
events.
too.
Yeah, they get
Yeah.
less events in general, so it's like still a decent
Yeah.
amount. But yeah, definitely, I think LATAM are hurting from this because again, I think Oceania gets their own CP bar, and also
Yep.
they have events there in it. So there's like
Yep.
what, like 4 events and an internationals.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Which
internationals
reduces
also
the amount
give
of
you more
spots.
championship points, but again, like looking at last year, all except for 2 LATAM events were in Brazil.
Mhm.
So if you can't get to Brazil, then sucks, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they speak
which
a different
is
language too than all the other
exactly,
Latin
yeah,
countries.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like
I
language
think it
barrier too.
actually doesn't even, like, a lot of Brazilians understand Spanish, but a lot of other countries, if they're speaking Spanish, they don't necessarily understand Portuguese, or at least Brazilian Portuguese. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, it doesn't really work in their favor. So hopefully it's something they're addressing, because again, I think LATAM in particular has a lot of in terms of TPCI, they have a lot of issues that need to be addressed.
Yeah. Yeah. And at least for Go, there's a big community in
Yeah,
LATAM.
yeah,
So
huge.
definitely want to see more love there. Yeah, Oceania is actually in a pretty good spot, I think, because their population
Yeah,
isn't as
yeah, they're
big.
chilling,
They actually have a decent amount of tournaments for them, especially if they add on
bro.
OCIC, right? So it's actually
Yeah,
kind of nice. But hey, you say what you want, but they actually perform pretty well too. I mean, three
honestly,
three competitors in the
yeah,
top 32, like that's pretty
yeah,
nice. And 2 of them are back to back top cuts
exactly.
from
Yeah, yeah,
last
yeah.
previous
So
worlds. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
what can you say? That's the
so
Australian IVCMP
yeah.
putting in putting in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Well,
Mm,
because I personally, I'm gonna say it. I'm personally gonna compete at Sacramento and LA if I
mm,
don't get put onto cast, and I already asked not to be casting those because
right.
I want to compete, which will be in October and then May. So hopefully 2 different metas. If we're still
Mm.
playing the same meta, something went wrong again. Like it's
Yeah,
good.
but
Like we're back on that like like boom
same
burst meta
train.
updates.
Yeah.
Which ones are you competing at?
So I'm unsure at the moment. Okay, so I'm in Europe until the middle of October. Um,
Oh,
and I'm really considering going to Barcelona. The only thing is, it's already filled up. And the
you didn't
unfortunate
sign
thing
up?
is, nah, bruv, it was like 2 in the morning, like, and I was
Uh,
also assuming that like there'd be 256 spots, and that
it's
maybe it would be a bit
128.
easier to, yeah, 120. Honestly, they need to do a second wave, because if you look at the last season we've had, there's
Yeah.
nowhere in the European books that's telling you, especially a city like Barcelona. that 128 is enough. Nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look in the
Yeah.
US ones, maybe, yeah, because they only had like what, one or two that went above. But there's nowhere in that's telling you that 128 is enough. So they really
Especially for a
need to put
free
that into
event
place.
too.
Exactly. So a lot of people are just signing up as a placeholder. They don't even know if they're going to go yet, which is another downside. Yeah. So hopefully that. Lille is unfortunately the weekend before I fly back to Australia, and I didn't honestly. I was like, you know what? Yeah,
The weekend before?
yeah, like
Oh, well, then you'll still be in Europe. Yeah.
technically, yeah, but I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't know if casting's an option. Yeah, but hey, it's an option. I'll take it.
Oh.
But then
I mean, I could be mistaken, but I think all the
you
casters,
need
if
a
they're going to
caster role.
cast it, have already
Yeah,
been selected.
I thought so.
So you
So
don't
Lille's a
don't.
no for me. Yeah, I
Well,
wasn't
those are
betting
no
on it
for you
anyway.
for
Yeah,
for casting, but for competing though,
yeah. I
you should
mean,
compete, right?
it's too tight in terms of like again, I fly back the day after and from London, so it would be like super tight. I'd have to get back to London and then fly out the next day, sort of thing. So Lille, I'm
Yeah,
going
but
to leave.
what
That
if you already
said,
get your ticket to Hawaii already? That's easy.
yeah, well, that's I could say that about any event, you know what I mean?
That's
No?
true.
Like,
You should go to all.
yeah.
Go
Well,
to
the thing
whatever one
is,
you can register
so
for.
I'll be in Australia from basically November until middle of February. So any
Okay.
events that's going to happen during that time, I'll definitely be attending. And then after February, I'll probably be back in Europe again, meaning I should catch EUIC and maybe some of the tail end European ones. So
Yeah.
I think depending on how um, if I feel like I need some extra points, then maybe I'll go to a few more. Again, it doesn't really cost too much in terms of attending some of these European events, which is quite nice. So
Mm.
they're definitely like kind of accessible. But I'm really excited for EUIC because watching it in my home city, yeah,
Yeah.
from the other side of the world wasn't the greatest feeling. Really excited for everyone who went, obviously, in it, but it did look like a good time. So
Wait, so
um,
after you go back to Europe,
mhm.
in February, yeah, you permanently staying there, or is it like you're just visiting for a
No,
little bit
I'm
and going
just
back to
I'm
Australia?
gonna stay for probably about 6 months and then go back to Australia afterwards. Because
Oh,
I'll
gotcha.
just be like, it'll be winter in Australia, and I'm like, why waste my visa? I may as well just renew it in the summer again. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah.
I see.
So
I see.
yeah.
Okay, there's a chance they might be able to make two different ICs then, if they have
Hey,
Oceania
honestly,
and
I'm really hoping that's the
the
case because
UIC.
here's the thing, yeah, I reached Australia like 5 days before OCIC,
Uh
and
huh.
my visa is 1 year. So if they do it a year to the date, I'll be 5 days off and I won't be able to attend. But if any, I don't know who organizes the ESL or something, yeah. If any of you guys are thinking of pushing it a bit earlier in February, I'm all
Can't you
for
just
that,
push your plans back, or you already have the flights booked?
No, no, it's a visa.
Oh, it's a
It's
visa.
the visa, yeah. So
Oh,
like the only other option would be to renew it, but then I'd be renewing it for an extra year and it starts when I renew it. So I'd be wasting 6 months of my
I
visa
see.
just not being in the
I
country.
understand.
So
I understand.
yeah, I'd honestly, the thing is though, one thing I feel kind of bad about, right, is that like I think being able to attend two ICs with the
Yeah.
championship points is a huge advantage. Like I
Just don't
think
need to
some
feel
other
bad about
players
it. Just do
no,
it.
I know, but like I think a lot of players will definitely be
You
eyeing
can
up
be the first
the
one qualifying worlds
prospect
and
of
feeling
doing it.
bad about it.
Yeah, I know, but it just it feels kind of like I don't want to say it feels like cheating, right? But if I get CP from two different ICs and that pushes me over the bar to qualify, and let's say I don't do like
Okay.
amazingly at the ICs, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I would personally feel bad about qualifying
Okay.
unless I've
You
proven
think that
myself
feels
somewhere
bad?
else. Yeah,
You think that feels bad, right?
uh,
You know what would feel worse? If you
no,
went to both ICs and you didn't qualify
didn't even
still.
qualify.
Then you should be really embarrassed, right? You're the
Bro,
one of the few
I'll
people to go
actually
into
change
two
my
different ICs
name.
and still not qualifying.
Yeah, yeah.
You better
Hey,
qualify if you go to two
I've
ICs.
been,
Then the pressure's really on, because you better because then everyone's gonna make fun of you.
yeah, that is true. Hey, if I didn't have enough pressure already, let's
Yeah.
let's hope it don't go that way, man.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think the pressure will definitely be on for you because by the time you start participating, it'll be halfway through the season.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
the thing is that they usually announce the Australian ones a bit late, and I think the last one started beginning of December, so it was the first event of the season.
Oh, okay, okay. So you
So
have a chance to probably go
yeah,
some of those.
if it's going to be a similar sort of thingy, then yeah, there'll be a season where there won't be any competition, unless I go to Barcelona.
Yeah.
But then yeah, it will be that second season predominantly. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
see what
Well,
happens.
that's good. Yeah. Well,
Mm.
hopefully, for your sake, hopefully the meta's not amazing because you'll miss out on some of that
Yeah,
for that first
yeah,
season. But we'll
yeah,
see. We're a couple days away. Yeah, today's
yeah.
August 23rd, so I think they're announcing the
We're
meta yet for
yeah,
next
roughly
season,
a
but
week away, you know.
we'll
And
see.
I saw there was Mind, the name of what the next season is going to be.
Oh, what
Obviously,
is
that
it?
doesn't mean anything necessarily. It's called Mind.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
I don't know, amazing, astounding. I don't know. It was two A words. I didn't really pay attention. But
Oh.
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought you had the name on
astounding
hand.
adventures or something. No, no, no. You got time for that. But maybe that means that they mind the name because there's a blog post in the works.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. So it could be any
Okay.
day now. Could be any day
All
now.
right. All right. We'll see. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, we're going to definitely do a deep dive on the updates once that comes out. To wrap it up, you already hit Legend in GBL, right?
Bruv, no.
What?
I
Wait,
haven't
worse than
really been
Speedy.
playing
What's
this
going
season.
on?
I know
Yeah.
because like with with the prep for Japan and then also going to Japan, I was like I don't really have like good opportunities to really like dial in and play GBL. So I'll do it if I feel like I have a bit of free time. And now I'm on the last 2 weeks of the season where Master League is the only league, and I only have one team, and I'm like, yo, I better like
What's your team in Master League?
it's the Dragonite Double Steel. Like it's
Oh,
the
what?
yeah,
Is
it's
that still
the
good right now?
I'm not aware. It's decent. It's decent. You know what? Like
Yeah.
Pokemon Go made it to like what number one or number two on the leaderboard with it. So
But not
if I don't
recently,
hit
right?
Legend, it's
Or
still
recently?
yeah. But what's happened recently? Like
Oh, you
aside
got
from
Xerneas.
yeah,
Like,
okay, Xerneas. But I mean, Double
Xerneas is
Steel
super annoying.
should be okay for them.
Well, what about
There's definitely
Xerneas
been a
League,
lot of like
right?
double.
It's Excadrill, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, don't they just win in the zeros and like close combat you?
yeah, but you can never go zeros in it. Like you have to like go into the twos and then like try and catch or something like that. It's definitely not
Uh,
convenient, but it's like similar to Zacian League, right?
Wait, I thought you were talking
It's
about how
always
you're
the
in
same.
Japan and you're like raiding like a whale and stuff. Like, don't you have
Yeah,
other
but I ain't
stuff you could
powering it
do now?
up.
Wait, why
No,
not?
because
What
I'm
about how
still
you have
waiting for a
four
lucky in
times
it.
dust? What do you need to save for?
Hey, you never know. You never know.
No, no, don't give it. You're not if
I'm
you're not
look,
going to compete until December, you'll be fine, right?
I'm
Wait, okay, wait.
thinking for a
Which
rainy
hundos
day.
do you have? Which yes.
I okay, non-lucky. Let's have a
It
look.
doesn't matter lucky or non-lucky. You just
Okay,
list the hundos. You can afford this, I
legendary
think.
and was it 4 star?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a Rayquaza. I got a
Okay,
Rayquaza.
that's pretty good.
And I
Dragon
definitely have
Send
the
hits
XLs
hard
for
too. I
that.
seen it hit like almost one shot Xerneas.
Yeah, that is
It
a
takes forever to get to, but it's
yeah,
pretty nasty.
but
Yeah.
mad sort of bait combination, you know.
Yeah.
I've got a Giratina altered, which I don't have the XLs for. I got a
Okay.
Ho-Oh, which is level 15, and I don't have the XLs for. I got a Moltres, which is Moltres.
Yeah.
I got a
He's
Zekrom,
running
which I don't have the
ABB with his
XLs
hoe.
for. And yeah, yeah,
You have a
yeah.
what? You have a what? Hundo Bustle?
No, Zekrom.
Oh, Zekrom.
Yeah. So really, it is really just the Rayquaza in it, but I
You
um
could run Rayquaza and Ho together. They cover each other pretty well.
I don't
But
have the XLs for it.
how far are you on the
I'm
XLs or
pretty
Ho?
far. I'm
Okay.
at 170 or something in a year.
Okay, so you have
Realistically,
Rayquaza.
by the end of this weekend, I will have XLs for Xerneas, Yveltal, Rayquaza, and the two primals. So I could potentially make a team out of that, and I could
I
power up
mean, it
like a
depends on how
98
bad
or
you want this
something.
legend.
Honestly, I'm not overly bothered about it because I'm I plan to try hard next season in terms of like high
Yeah.
leaderboard stuff. So I'm not too bothered, especially because this is like Master League as well. I'm like, well,
All
yeah,
right.
it is what it is. But it also does feel kind of bad
There's
because
Catch Cup.
there was another. I ain't playing catch cup, bro.
I mean, you can make your car big, right? Everyone's
Hey,
doing
come
running
on,
car
bro.
big.
Nah. Yeah, this is another reason to not play catch cup. Yeah, I ain't that that hot
Uh,
garbage of a cup. Yeah,
it
is what I'll
is,
call
it is.
it.
Make another Bastion. Yo, a lot of people
Bro,
probably make Bastion because of
they
GoFest.
probably they
Yeah,
probably are in
Bastion
it. That's
carbon.
what I'm
Yo, probably
saying,
a lot
bro.
of
Like
Bastion carbon lines.
this is not efficient use of Stardust, in my opinion. But I don't know. You know what the thing
Naturally
is?
would
Yeah, is
be,
that
yeah.
yeah. If you like. If you feel like, oh, this is your best opportunity to hit legend, by all means, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just like, you know what? I dropped the ball this season. Here's what it is, isn't it? Yeah, I just
You know what?
do it another season.
Now that you said you're going to commit to climb the leaderboards next season,
Oh, okay,
you should
okay,
join
go
in
on,
on the
okay.
bet with me and Speedy next season.
Do you know what?
Wherever
Yeah,
Speedy is, I don't know where Speedy is, but you
yeah,
should.
wherever he is. Yeah,
A
what was
perm
the
seems
hashtag
unlikely
again?
for your haircut, but a hot chip though is available for everyone.
Do you know what? Yeah, I will commit to it because not
Okay,
only does it make me commit to like my training and making
right,
sure that I
right.
actually do the thing. I think like I said on the last episode, yeah, I'm about belief. Yeah, I believe that I can do it. Yeah, and I
All
ain't
right.
losing that. I ain't say something and not
Yeah,
follow
Speedy said the same thing before he lost his first bet with me.
through. Yeah, but
You don't need a handicap like Speedy does, right?
nah, don't get wait. What's the bet? What's the bet first? Because we haven't
First to
even
legend.
discussed that. First to legend.
Yeah, out of us three, I guess. Maybe there should be different levels of penalty. Like if you're the second one to legend, you don't suffer as much as the third place person, right?
First to legend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, hey,
this.
like 2 minutes ago, you're like, next season
I
I'm
know.
gonna commit to myself. I'm gonna go for that leaderboard placement.
Hey,
Like that's time to grind, right? I'm starting to
I
prep for this
wasn't
new
saying I was gonna
season.
be first to legend, but you know what? Yeah, you know what? Okay, what if I take a 1 week handicap?
See, this is
Are you fine with that?
this is where the sensibility starts kicking in.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah. Because
let's think.
I'm also
Let's
not gonna throw
let's
myself in
we have
there.
some time to decide. Let's
Yeah.
think on it. We'll have
Alright,
to come
alright,
up with
alright.
some punishments too and stuff,
No,
right?
no problem, no problem.
What's your
But
spice tolerance these days?
honestly, it's pretty bad. It is pretty bad.
Wait, has it always been bad, or is it like worse these days?
No, it's just always been bad.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
always been
it's
bad.
been
Okay,
good. Yeah.
I gotta say my spice tolerance was okay, but
Mm,
because I'm like getting older, it's definitely worse. Like I went to a Indian food place
uh,
in New York Go Fest, and food was great, phenomenal, right?
uh,
But and I was with um Adib and Dijon and some other
mm.
people, and they're like, "Oh, you want some naan with that?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And they're like, "I'm like, what kind do they have?" And they're like, "They had, like standard one, they had like garlic one, they had like garlic chili naan." I was like, "Oh, I gotta do garlic chili now, right? That sounds amazing, right?" And I like a
Yeah.
little spice too. And Dijon and D were like, "It's gonna be really spicy." I was like, "I'll be fine." Right? Was it spicy? Yeah, it was spicy. It was definitely like I was like,
Oh,
"Whoa, this
mate.
is actually got a kick to it, right?" It's actually pretty good. But I ate it all. And next day, not just next day, 2 days straight, I was like
Hey,
struggling. And I
man
was in
said ring of
GoFest
fire.
too. Yeah. So I had to use the porta potty, which is not great. But
Oh
I
my
was
days.
dying. I was like, dude, this thing is hitting me. It was in waves too, like constantly throughout the day. And like I was like just like holding it together, right? At the PvP area for GoFest. And the same thing, like when I was about to board my plane, I had to go. Like it
Oh
was wild.
mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
It
sounds
was
like a struggle. I can't lie.
yeah, I used to not have this when I was younger, but it's just that
Yeah.
age, man.
I
I
mean, I
think it's
wonder
really
if
hitting
it's
me after
just like,
30.
maybe you haven't been eating spicy stuff recently or something like that. I don't know, innit? Like,
I eat spicy stuff from time to time, but not
yeah,
that spicy, but still, it's just hitting me harder than it used to. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've never been a fan. I remember like last time I was in Japan, I noticed that whenever you get something spicy here, it's just not spicy. Like, regardless of how high the spicy level gets, you're just not spicy. And that's coming from me as well.
Yeah.
I don't like spicy.
Yeah.
And I went to Thailand next, like right after I
Yeah.
went to Japan. And
Okay.
I ordered something, and they were like, how spicy do you want it? And I've been ordering spicy all month, like spicy, it's fine. I hadn't even paid for the dish
Yeah.
yet. Yeah, she was like, "You can pay me afterwards." I sat there in this like food market. I took the first bite, and bro, I was holding back tears. Yeah, I was like, I was sitting there like, I really have to finish this just in case she thinks I'm like not gonna pay for it. And I was like, really, really going through it. And yeah, that really, that taught me a lesson, bro.
Yo, she
That taught
must have
me a
been laughing
lesson.
at you too. Like, oh man, look at this foreigner trying to power through.
That was the worst as well. I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy, and I was fully that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
At
that was
least you
not fun.
tried. Which did you finish the dish?
I finished the dish. Yeah, I wasn't happy about it. I was really not happy about it, bro.
How's the
Like,
aftermath?
it's obviously blacked out of my memory because I don't remember. My subconscious did something there. They
Uh,
were like, "We don't need to remember this."
we don't have to
Yeah,
do a spice thing. We could do something else. So,
we can do
uh,
something else. Yeah. You know what the thing is? Like I said, I will take a challenge. Yeah? I will take a challenge because I'm definitely sure that I'm gonna do way better than I did this season because I didn't try this
with
season. I
the
didn't put any time in. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And I'm actually going
Well,
like
let's hope so.
full
Otherwise, you'd
human
never not
patch
win
above,
this
bro.
bet if you're
Yeah,
doing it the
yeah,
same
yeah. You
rate.
know what I mean? Innit? So that is give me an
Oh,
extra reason to do it.
you know what we could do?
No.
When I was doing an episode with the BTW guys,
Mhm.
they talked about how I think Astro he didn't do the hot chip. Matthew did when he lost a bet. But Astro had to eat like these jelly beans. And they were like disgusting jelly bean flavors. It wasn't like standard jelly beans. It was like vomit flavor, like diarrhea
Bro,
flavored jelly beans. He like threw up.
who even tastes diarrhea to know what that tastes
I
like?
don't know. Whoever's
What the
running the
hell?
taste test is like crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And he like
Bro.
threw up. Maybe we had to do something
Oh,
like that.
like I said, I'll commit to a bet. Yeah, I'll commit to a bet. Yeah, we can go over the details a bit later on. We'll see what happens with the move update. Yeah, we'll
Man,
see
move update or
what
not,
the
we're
new
still doing the
season's looking
legend
at.
bet,
Yeah, I'll
right?
commit. Yeah, I'll commit to a bet. I'll commit to
Yeah.
a bet.
I need a Bastion buff or something, but
Yeah.
okay. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So quick segment on the tea topic too. So
Mm-hmm.
this was really since we're talking about Worlds recap, um one of the players that qualified for Worlds, Avrip, and played actually made it in top 32.
Yeah.
Fun fact too, Avrip actually qualified for Worlds last year too, so two-time Worlds qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
Actually battled against Wadaj in it was like early on day number 2 in the winners bracket.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe their first matchup. No, second matchup actually, because Avrip went against Rick Flair on
Ric
first.
Flair. Yeah.
Yeah, and won that. So played really great. First time on stage too, so really
Mm-hmm.
big first stage. But I remember the day before Avrip was telling me like, "Hey, I was like, I've been just trying to get on stream this whole time. I never had a chance." I was like, "Well, if you keep winning, you'll make it on, right?" And he kept winning, so he made it
Yeah,
on.
he smacked it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he ran into some lag issues in game number 3. What's your recounting of this? Actually, I'm curious because you probably saw it
So
right from spectator
I
seats.
Yeah, I only saw it on like on looking back at it.
Mhm.
And I think it was something along the lines of um was it his Registeel that lost some moves? But he basically lost some moves.
I think
Yeah.
it was like
What was
I
it?
think it was like his Altaria versus a Lantern or something.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think
he definitely
he was
lost some
using
moves.
Altaria, he lost some moves, yeah.
Yeah. And it was a situation which may have changed the outcome or at least made it a lot more uh comfortable of a matchup for him.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it wasn't called out. He left the stage. He didn't actually say anything about it either.
Mhm.
And I think also one thing is whenever Wadaj plays against someone and they're having some issues, you see it on his face. Yeah. So he
Mhm.
recognizes that it happens, but
Yeah.
also he recognizes that sometimes it's a graphical issue. Do you know what I mean? And he just like
Right.
he carries on regardless. So even if it happens to him, you see like, times where he's obviously miscounted or he's not expecting the move to come that early or something
Yeah.
like that. And you see it on his face. You're like, you see the surprise, but then he just goes and carries on.
Mhm. You
Um,
wanna play it out because, like, even if you lag, you might
yeah,
win, and,
yeah,
like, there's no
exactly.
point rematching, right? Because
Mhm,
that happened at, Self Continentals. I lagged against
mhm,
someone, but I just kept playing it out. Like, I was in a Umbreon mirror, and I was
yeah,
at least 1 or 2 snarls behind, and I still ended winning, so I was like, "Well, no need to rematch," but I'm like, "Let me
mhm,
restart my game before game 3,"
yeah,
right? And my
yeah.
opponent agreed, right? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, so that
But
was my thing. Like from the caster's desk, I don't know how
I casted
you
that
were
game,
perceiving it.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't backstage. I cast it with Butters, and I remember specifically seeing it too, right? You can see
Hmm.
it very noticeably. on average side, he was missing some like Dragon Breath, I think, on Altaria. Or maybe it was the other way around. He was running Lantern. I forgot which one was which. But like the matchup definitely looked weird. And I don't know if that's why he swapped out, but it forced him to swap in that matchup as well. And he was just like behind. And so he posted about it too because he didn't realize how bad it was. Because the
Mm.
problem is it might be like you said, like it might be visual on both ends, right? Like maybe
Yeah.
he's thinking, well, maybe what Dodge is liking too, because if I'm liking, I can't really see if he's liking, right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
you don't really know, right? And what Dodge
Mm.
doesn't know either because you're like, well, maybe I'm gonna
You
catch
don't
up,
know
like
what's
they're gonna
happening
catch
on the
up, right? It's
other.
hard to
Yeah.
say. Yeah, as a competitor, like when you're locked in, like I remember like it happened when I was facing Soph in Fresno. Like
Mm.
I didn't know she missed a mud shot, right? I was just
Yeah.
like confused why like I see Embiid, right, on the second one when I
Mm.
thought that, she was gonna throw beforehand. So sometimes you miss it as a competitor because in the moment too. But Wadaj
Yeah.
did, like you said, notice a little bit, but again, it's not any fault of Wadaj or anything.
Mm.
Um, but Avril wrote like kind of a long Twitter post about it too, and he said, "Oh, it was Altaria actually." He said, "I had a great
Right.
lead Altaria into Metacham, and by the time my game had started, I had already taken 3 to 4 counters worth of damage on my Altaria, which everyone witnessed while watching the stream and in the spectator booth." He said, "I was unaware at the time that my game had started so late and was thinking it could have been potentially a visual bug. And it was also his first time ever being on stream at a tournament,
Mm.
so I was not entirely sure of the necessary protocols that a player must take at an event." And then he said, "It wasn't until after I got off stage, I had a large crowd of spectators gathered around me and were asking questions like, what happened? Why was it not a rematch?" Which then they showed me the footage of how bad it was. Since I had gotten off stage, there was nothing the judges official could do at that point. Um, you know, etc. He goes into, obviously like things could have
Yeah.
been different about like if that didn't happen or if there was a
Mm.
rematch because it came to game 3, right? He took a game off with
Yeah.
Dodge early
Yeah.
on. And he says, this has nothing to do with Dodge, which I agree with, and we
Mm.
even had a chat after to discuss it. I had no hard feelings whatsoever towards him. It was not his fault this happened. It's just unfortunate circumstances.
Mm.
And he's venting about it and stuff like that, and he said, "I am 100% aware that I should have said something at the time, but a mixture of nerves and not knowing exactly how bad the lag was made me keep it to myself, um, etc." So kind of really unfortunate. He had a really incredible run too. Made top
Yeah.
32, made day 2
Super
from the winner's
impressive. Yeah.
side, but it just was super unfortunate that he wasn't able to get kind of the win that he wanted
Yeah.
or potential rematch there.
Yeah.
And I think it really brings a question, and this is not like a knock on judging staff too, because I don't really know the exact protocol is. I think for the most part, the protocol is unless it's like the game's just like completely like crash or whatever, like any
Mm.
like little lag or even up to maybe significant lag, it's up to the players to dispute, which makes sense, especially if you're playing off stage, right? But when you play on
Yeah.
stage, you have judges constantly looking at games. If you're playing off stage, there's no way judges can watch over your shoulder and
Yeah.
see everything.
For sure.
So you
Yeah.
have to flag down the judges, right? So that's a general
Yeah.
protocol for any battles. Except when you're on stage is a little different because you have judges constantly looking.
Mm.
Does that change the protocol judges take? Probably not, which makes sense why, it makes sense why they handle it this way, right? It was maybe the
Mm.
onus was on Avrip. But if you're in average position and you don't see the visual, you think it's visual on both
Exactly.
sides, you don't know how far you're behind because if you're lagging, how can you see how far you're behind,
Yeah.
right? You can always ask the judge for doing that, but sometimes you don't want to be annoying and always ask for every single time there's something visual,
Yeah.
right? You don't
Yeah.
want to seem like a bad sport just because you lost
Mm.
and, etc. I don't think there should ever be blame on someone asking for to check a
Mm.
potential, to dispute anything, to check for potential stuff. Because if it gets overruled, then no big deal. And if it gets ruled in their favor, then obviously they're right.
Yeah.
Um, but I do wonder moving forward too, because I'm sure that post got a lot of like eyes on it too, obviously from people from
Mm.
TBCI, if there'll be a change for future seasons, right? Or future tournaments
Yeah.
where I guess this would only apply for on-stream battles. If a
Mm.
judge can just step in and say, "Hey, look, I know you didn't say anything, but that actually looked like it should have been rematchable."
Yeah. Well,
I
I
don't know. What
think,
are your thoughts on that?
yeah, it definitely brought a few issues to light. So obviously, one of them you just discussed being, should the judge be the one to call it or not?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one being, and I think this was something that Speedy also commented that um, the SpeediestChief3 um,
Not SpeediestChief3.
was, bringing up disputes it's a bit frowned upon by the community.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, there have been a lot of disputes which have been, that have happened over the history of the championship series, which have been, I'd say, questionable. And so those have put disputes in a bit of a negative light, where, especially to, if it's a viewer who doesn't necessarily know what they're watching, right? Um, there, or maybe doesn't know more of the nuances behind the mechanics and stuff like that, they're going to look at it and think like, oh well, this guy's just disputing for the sake of it. So
Mhm.
it's definitely been frowned upon, and I think it kind of comes under a similar bracket of what you're saying about like death wins and you know should it be like a sportsmanship thing to do. I think the disputing comes under that as well, where it's like, well, you shouldn't be afraid to dispute. Admittedly, you shouldn't do frivolous disputes, but how are we to know with the game in this kind of state as well?
Right.
There's I think we mentioned this last time with one turn desync has been about for a bit, like a few months at least, I think.
Mhm.
And sometimes also when you're watching the screens, you don't even know if it's one turn desync or if just the two games, like the video feed is slightly desynced. It's
Mhm.
unclear at some points. Um, but these desyncs are happening and they're not evident on both sides. They're usually only
Right.
evident on one side. So it is difficult as a player, and then also you're pressure of the moment. You're like, if you just lost the game, a bit flustered, whatever. Especially if you had a good lead. So I think it should be down to the judges, and I guess that hasn't been the case before, but it probably should be the case in the future, where the judges, it's like, what are you doing, right? You're sitting there and you're watching the game. That is literally what you're doing for the entirety of the game. So
Mhm.
you're in the best position to make these kind of calls. You're watching both sides of the screen. Um, the opponent shouldn't necessarily be thinking to do it because again, they don't know what's happening on the other side of the screen. And you as the player, admittedly, you should bring certain things up, but again, if it's something that didn't come up on your side of the screen but came up on the other side, how are you supposed to know?
Yeah. I think there has to be some like maybe slight change for stream judges versus like
Hmm.
on the floor judges because again the on floor
Yeah,
judges can't be responsible for seeing all those
yeah, for
stuff,
sure. Yeah.
but the stream judges may be. I mean, it's just like it's just like an unfortunate bad look in general, right? Like it leaves a
Mm,
sour taste in like average mouth. Like, but for everyone viewing, dude, you're like, dude, like that's just like so scuffed, right? That was the end
mhm.
result of that game, and it wasn't a rematch, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone watching, like it's an unfortunate bad like spectator experience and viewer experience in general.
Yeah.
And again, this is not like any fault on whatever judges who were ruling on that one because they were doing what they're told, and
Mhm.
I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe they saw it or maybe they missed it. It's hard to say, but
Yeah.
I do remember commentating the match. I was like, "Huh, it's a little weird, right?" And I think I
Mhm.
even spoke to Butters after. I was like, maybe Average just a nice guy and just like conceded and thought he had no win con there. But like, I was like,
Yeah.
if that was me, like that Metacham getting that many extra counters. Yeah, I do remember now specifically because Altari's supposed to win that on even shields, right? And it
Yeah.
looked like it wasn't going to win on even shields
Mhm.
based on how it was playing out. So it forced Average to swap out there. But yeah, that changes a lot, right? Getting extra counters through like right off the
Mhm.
start,
Yeah,
huge
for
difference.
sure. Mm.
Huge difference on Ice Punch Meta Jam. So but yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, and shout out to
Yeah.
the judging staff too, because they work really hard to make sure these are run as smooth as possible. But for that to be like pretty much the only like noticeable hiccup all weekend at Worlds is like
It's
still
not bad. Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
I
good.
think also, you know what, like this is the wrap up of our second season at Worlds and the first full
Hmm.
season at Worlds, and
Hmm.
the differences between the beginning of the season and now is incredible. Do you know what I mean? In it, so
Hmm.
the kind of progress we're making is really good. Obviously, it's unfortunate that certain people have to be the casualty, but you'll never change something unless an issue arises, right? So
Right.
um, I think I think the judges, everyone involved in judging in general, would definitely have been looking at that situation and will be
Hmm.
reviewing things with the start of the season. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's a shame as well because also you're just like, well, it would be nice if that wasn't even a problem from the start, right? And if the game was just, consistent from the start. But
Yep.
yeah, that's the
Definitely.
kind of position we're in, and that. So
That's a good case study for
yeah.
future judges learning. how
Yeah,
to
yeah,
judge and stuff like that, or even current
yeah,
judges as they go
yeah.
through. So
But I
I'm
guess
sure
it
they're
also
all talking
means that
together.
the judge's knowledge on the game does need to also be impeccable if they're going to be pointing out inconsistencies like
Yeah.
that. And I think one thing that I really admire about King in particular, and maybe other judges do this as well, but I just only see it, King post it. But he set himself like a get to the leaderboard challenge solely
Hmm.
for the purpose of being like, well, I need to be playing with the best people if I'm going to recognize, any inconsistencies or any, like different mechanic issues and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I really rate that approach. So it's kind of like, see a referee in a sports game. Yeah, these guys have to run a lot. You know what I mean? Isn't it?
Dude, especially the
Like,
soccer referees, dude, they're running
yeah,
up and down the field. Like a basketball
yeah.
court's not nearly as big, right?
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, these football referees, they're running all over the place. And it's like, I guess you kind of got to train, almost to the same level as a footballer if you're going to be,
yeah,
reffing the games, isn't it?
100.
Because you could just stand in one spot, but then you're not doing your job properly, really. Do you know what I mean? So,
Are there not as
um,
many like referees for like football or slash soccer? Like because
what do you
'cause I
mean?
feel like if they had more, they wouldn't have to run as much, right? You just like I'm only
You
responsible for this
do
part of
get
the field.
loads. So you do get loads on like the touch lines, so the
Yeah,
linesmen, and then recently you also have like video assistants as well. But
yeah,
ultimately, on the pitch, there's only one referee, and so
yeah, dude.
you
That
know
referee's running a ton. I see him. They're always
is
sweating, right? They're booking it.
yeah,
They must
they
love their
are
job. I
yeah,
don't
man,
know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so do you know what I mean? I really rate that approach. I think it's a really good
yeah.
one. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's an unfortunate situation, but getting these things out of the way
Mhm.
and just, getting stronger and stronger by the event. I think that's kind of the direction we're going in, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And Adverb had an incredible run too. So shout out to
yeah,
him as well
yeah.
for despite
You know
despite
what? I
that.
think particularly one thing I've got to say about Everett is, the tournament he qualified from is not necessarily known as, it's like the, I don't know, like the Salt Lake City of Australia, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
nobody really goes there. And I think his performance was insane. Um,
yeah.
and it's a really good opportunity. It's really nice, I'd say, to be able to prove yourself on a different platform, and
Mhm.
even sometimes to yourself as well. Where it's like, well, you know, I'm not just confined to like this region. I'm,
Mhm.
able to battle it out with the best. And again, if
Yeah.
things had been a bit different, who knows what would have happened after that? You know what I mean?
Dude, so much
Yeah,
would change.
yeah,
Potentially,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
If he beats
well,
Wadacher, so much would change.
if he beats Wadaj, it's okay. So it's only the. Oh, so it was the first. Oh no, it wasn't the first round. But yeah, he goes on
Second
to
round, I
play
think, wouldn't
Elche.
it? Yeah.
Um,
And if O'Shea
yeah,
beats him, then O'Shea
yeah,
plays
yeah,
the accent, right?
yeah, yeah. So that is a interesting storyline if it did
Yeah. There will be less
go
NA
that way.
players in top three, but looks like
Yeah,
NA is gonna hold dominant this year.
for now,
Yeah.
yeah.
But now, hey, Accent's going to UIC. If Accent wins the UIC, that's gonna be the biggest disrespect on all of
Hey,
EU.
bro, if Axon wins the UIC, we can make a bet on that. Yeah, it's just
Not gonna
I'll delete
that's a
something
hard bet.
important.
Look, I know I said I stopped disrespecting Accent, but that's still a hard bet for me to make.
Yeah, 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 fair enough, fair enough.
I think he'll make top cut in EUIC if he goes,
I think I
if
think
possible.
he could, yeah, especially if it's like top 16 as well.
Yeah,
Not saying he wouldn't make top 8, but obviously, like I think he definitely would make a top 16. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Wild. Well, anyway, that's it for us. Hopefully, you have a good Go Fest in Japan.
yeah,
And
bro. Hey,
that's gonna...
I'm
Do you have a
waiting.
card bank already? Do you have the card
Be
bank
waiting.
made?
Nah, not even close. Because
Uh,
again, I'm looking for the right, or not
right
the
rank
right
point,
spread.
yeah,
I'm just trying to look for like a good rank.
yeah.
I
That's
didn't
the
collect
ultimate.
as many as I thought I did from the other day. So
Osaka, yeah,
yeah, yeah, and I don't walk it or anything like that. I don't think I'm even going to use it unless it's like super necessary. It's not really my kind of play style, so I don't think I'd use
yeah.
it next season. Personally,
I
I'd
think it's
much
still
rather
kind of hard
like,
to use.
yeah. I mean, the thing is that like the carbon counters are more along my sort of thing, like Swampert, Registeel. So If it came down to that, I'd just go that direction.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I
mm.
didn't want to walk any of mine either because I just you should have to power it up to make any meaningful use out of
Yeah,
it, and just like I'm
exactly.
not gonna power up a bad one just to walk it. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
fine
not worth
just to do
it.
it. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. But best of luck to everyone. And if you have any bet punishment ideas, let us know down below. I think the gel bean one
Go
is gonna
for
be
it.
pretty
Go.
good. I personally don't want to
Yeah,
eat any of those gel beans, dude. Like
yeah.
Astro was just saying he was throwing up while eating it, and
Yeah, that don't
that
sound
sounds like a
great. I'm not
terrible
gonna
time.
lie. And I need to like, if I do commit to that, I need to commit to also a location where it's just a bit more acceptable for me to just be throwing up for a couple hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hotel
Uh,
room is probably fine, right?
but
Yeah, yeah. But
they're
we'll
gonna
see.
be
And
knocking at the door like, "Oh, you okay?"
right.
Uh,
Um, Anyway, thank you, Anacor, aka SpeediestChief3, for filling in for this week.
Swedish chief.
We'll see how it goes. Well, we don't know where Speedy is, but hashtag where's Speedy? I know
Hashtag
he's
web
fine.
speedy.
I know he's safe because I saw him in New York City
Where
like
is
two
he?
days
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
But
Where is he? You know what I mean?
where is the man? Yeah, that's the
Where
real
is this
question.
guy?
Anyway, we'll catch you all next week. Good luck on Global Go Fest. Get that XL Pachirisu.
Yeah,
Good time to do it. Good time
yeah,
to do
yeah.
it. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
That mega
And
amphoros or sign.
yeah, we'll catch you all next time.
Yeah.
Oh, and let us know down below if Anacor's right or wrong about the crown Pikachu. I'm pretty sure we only had one
I'm
crown
pretty
Pikachu
sure.
for
Sorry,
all of
I'm pretty sure
Osaka,
there was
London,
four
and
in
New
a row.
York. But
Like,
I don't think there's four at each specific Go Fest. But you know,
I'm pretty sure there was four, but again, I'm committing to the pot now.
maybe you should eat a
So,
jelly bean for each Pikachu you're wrong about.
but that is to be unconfirmed.
This is how I
Well,
get you.
yeah, this is the start of a slippery slope.
All
Yeah.
right, we'll catch you all next time. Have a good one.
So
Peace.